Okay, according to this, we're live. Are we live? Hello? Okay, we're live there. Hello, people. Are we live? Just checking in. I see Devil's Air. I see Evelyn Rose. Let me see if I can get my stats up. I'll bring that over here, because why not? Bring these stats over here. Leave that over here. Moo. I see a moo. Hello. Reading you loud and clear. Yes. And do y'all hear my weeb trash going on? I listen to an unreasonable amount of Nightcore, and I'm about to make it your problem. So I'm going to make sure... Speakers? Double checking. Good morning. Anthony, I noticed you. Just a Kudere, I noticed you. Hello, hello. Have you seen the new Unearthed Arcana? No, I have not. Just your voice, no music? Okay, hold up. You me. Hello. Hello. Alright, let me go to default then. Maybe that'll put it through. Then again, maybe my speakers are just... Oh, there they are. Maybe you're hearing it now. Dr. Hentai is here, yes. Although that is a name I've not heard since this morning. We're going over races today. Come say hi. At everyone. Alright. Let's see. Okay, let me go through some people real quick. And I know I am dog water at looking you guys in the eye. I apologize. My tism just doesn't let me do that. Let's see. I'll heal the bench. The bench. I want to play more Baldur's Gate 3, but I don't want to install more games. Currently in Act 3. I grabbed the Day 2 package. Perfect! I'm glad you did. Can't wait to see the Zenko. Glad to see Mr. Hentai got his degree. I like that. That's really good. Hello, hello. All right, so I do want to do a quick little update for everybody. I want to thank you. I've got it over here. We are currently at $52,760. We have got 1,017 backers, and I want to say to everyone who pledged, thank you so much. It means the world to me. I love that this goofy ass shit post that I posted way back near Valentine's Day is getting at least 1,000 people excited. That's pretty insane. We've sold, I think we've sold 1,000 books before from the store, but like never this quickly. So that's huge. Thank you. I woke up 2 hours early to get the day 1 package. Thank you. Very tempted to grab the PDF, even though I barely played D&D itself, just for the lore. I'm watching to see if I want to buy the Kickstarter. Well, I will say this. So if you are looking... I'm sure there's some kind of like social blade for Kickstarter where you'll notice that we actually did go down today. Yesterday we were at, I think, 54,000, something like that. But one of our big backers did back out. I obviously have no ill will towards them. I have no hard feelings. But one of the people who did the build a waifu did in fact back out. So instead of having 2 people select the $2,500 tier, we currently just have 1 person. If someone wants to snag that, now is your opportunity. So I know 1 person did, and it's, I feel like I know who they are, but I'll have to contact them later. You have a dusty monitor. No, that's just bad glare and me not, that is just me not, keeping that managed. It happens. I can't help to get my master's degree in this culture. Yeah, no, it happens, guys. It's fine. It's fine. I have no ill will. Like, money is money, you know. You need what you need, and if he felt like it wasn't worth it for him, then yeah, he had to back out. That's fine. So, as promised by the title and thumbnail, I'm going to go over this book today. We're going to go over chapter 1 of what we currently have. Now, in the actual Kickstarter, we have gotten I'm going to actually turn down my music just a tiny amount for me. The other side of the monitor? Okay, you know what? All right, Axgen and Proton, just for you. Give me just a moment. I'm going to clean this monitor for you. Gonna go over here. Just give that a good old... Yeah, that's clean, guys. Did you know? Dirty-ass snot rags will fix a dusty monitor. Are we good? Are we happier? I'm gonna make sure. I don't want to offend anybody with my dust. I think that cleaned it. Definitely cleaned it. Cleaned, for sure. Let's see. Good backgrounds. Nice to know we're supporting a man of culture. Absolutely. Is my night core still going? I wasn't hearing it. There we are. Perfect. Gotta make sure that weeb cringe keeps going at all times. All right. Let's see. Okay, yeah. So if you keep an eye on the Kickstarter, we destroyed our first goal, by the way. I said that if we reached 20,000, we would add Lamias. Currently, Lamias are being written up. They are not ready to be presented. You will not be seeing Lamia today. I'm super sorry. Next week, we'll be going over classes, and hopefully I can get Josh in on that one. We did also unlock a new Dakimakura, and we've unlocked expanded races. I'll talk about what we want to do with the expanded races near the end of the stream. Is that a Luna Daki in the back? All right, we can talk about the Dakis if you want for a second. What's your opinion on Heavenly Delusion? I'm not sure what that is referencing to, my friend. Bicep shoe. I do work out a lot. In fact, I actually did miss my workout just to make the stream today. After stream, I'm gonna go do leg day. So we're gonna make sure that happens. If you do notice the Dakis in the background, these are available at loadingcrewcrafts.com. And in fact, I do have most of these signed. I've got Nessa signed by the English voice actor. I got Luna signed. She was we didn't have a normal Luna before I got that signed, so it was kind of awkward going up to her and saying, "Hey, don't freak out, but my wife's the artist," and she was real cool about it. Picture's still on Twitter. And then this was actually Eno, and then I'm still trying to track down Nagatoro's voice actor. I hope you hit 200,000. I mean, I do too. I'm gonna be honest. That would be pretty swell. I can tell you, in full honesty, I have pretty much brainstormed everything through the waifu spells and expanded cooking. I did not intend to write up a lot of monster girls, or at least not a huge bestiary, I guess. But I have enough. Hold up. I do have enough, I think, inspiration to go off of, that when we do get to Monster Girls, I'm not going to have a problem writing them. I think that'll be fine. Will we be getting the lovely list of races in a song? I did not intend to do that. Me, I rolled a seduce. Dude, that's a pillow. I cast animate objects. Will there be any sample adventures in the book to facilitate the shipping? At the moment, we will not be having that, simply because the book itself... So, again, this is the prototype I have right here. The printing, this is not ready. It does not look very good, and the reason it does not look very good is because I exported it wrong when I sent it to the printers. So that's my fault. I know how to fix it, but this is 212 pages currently. If I remove the adverts, it'd be down to 211. But it's pretty full already. It's got a lot going on. How much until Monster Girls? We unlock... so we are unlocking Monster Girls at 150,000 because if you want a Monster Girl book, we would have to print an entirely new volume. Just the added content that we're doing for the first set of... what am I trying to say? Stretch goals. For the first set of stretch goals. That's already going to turn this 200-page book into pretty much a 300-page book, give or take. And that's not including the other waifus that other people are going to be adding into it at the higher tiers. Simply watch Monster Masune. Excuse me. I'm so sad I can't stay, says Ara Arcanum. I have a scheduled stream to handle, but will there be a place? Yeah, I'm going to keep the VODs live throughout the campaign. Mine Flameblade. You! Flameblade! You! This is your fault! Everyone in chat, Mine Flameblade is the person that kickstarted this whole freaking process, because this was meant to be a joke book. I was only going to do 5e classes. I was only going to do these classes. And then that piece of work came in here and said, hey, you're going to add fox girls so I can play as a fox girl, right? And I went, yeah, I guess I am. And since then, I've not been able to say no to my comment section. That's him. Everyone, like, I don't know, shame him, I guess. It's him. Oh, I love him. I love him so much. Waifu Handbook, the interspecies review. Okay, so here's the funny thing. There have been some reactions around the internet to this. There have been people live streaming their reactions to the Waifu Handbook. And it's really, really funny because at first everyone kind of misunderstands what it is. A lot of people will come in and they're like, oh God, it's a lewd book. In fact, my first advertisement that I put on Facebook, it was a harmless image. It was just the book. And then like, I think I had a panel from Yu-Gi-Oh! In the background. And it was just, it said 5e with waifus. That is the entire advertisement. It was so innocuous, but someone reported it for adult content. People think this book is lewd, and it's really not. It's meant to be funny. All hail Flameblade. Oh, you guys are so fun. Okay, so I've been holding off too long. I think we should probably just get into the races real quick before Cammy Cat uploaded a song for the handbook. I know, I paid her to do it. She way undercharged herself, so we'll be tipping both her and Megami. Megami, by the way, who is the one who created that amazing song that you're hearing on the Kickstarter, the Roll for Waifu song, that was all Corinne Sudberg, all Megami 33. They way undervalued themselves at the end of the Kickstarter. They're gonna get a good tip. Don't get me don't get me started. We're gonna send some more stuff. So yeah, they were amazing. Like, this Kickstarter probably would not have the charm it has if not for their at least Corinne's work. And what's her name? Kami brought in a lot of people. Flameblade, I'm surprised you didn't notice me sooner. I'm gonna be honest, I am like 8 ways distracted. And that's the huge thing. I'm just distracted, buddy. Gotta love senile customers. At least I can watch this. Yeah, no. It's so yeah, let's go ahead and get through it. My bad lighting aside. Let's see. Is there a goblin waifu? Everyone's asking that. I didn't plan on it. Is the song on Spotify? I know that it's on Cammy Cat Spotify. I'm not certain it's on Corinne's Spotify. So, yeah, I know it's on. I know it's on at least Cammy Cat's Spotify. I can ask Corinne later. But again, I do plan to tip her for every commission that we get on this, or for every pledge that we get anyway. So I'm not concerned. Should make a parody with Joe Cat with the waifu races. Maybe. I have talked to Joe a little bit about it. Actually, fun fact, the orc girl on the cover of the book, I actually posted this on Twitter a little bit ago, but the orc girl on the book in the original draft of this handbook, this was supposed to be Joe right here. Back when it was, definitely a silly little idea, I was going to stat out her and Joe as just a couple NPCs for a campaign. But once the page count of this thing broke like 150 pages, I told Joe I didn't feel right selling the book in his name. You know, like, oh, Joe Cat approved. Why don't you buy my book? It's not a good thing to do. Kingwing. Yeah. You know, Joe's a great guy. He's always been good to us. So I've got no... Yeah. Joe Cat was this close to being in the book. Is there a skeleton waifu as a Joker race? Well, kinda, actually. Let's actually get to it. Let me go to desk with overlay. So you should be able to see... So I actually have the digital PDF pretty much done. Like, the first couple hundred pages are complete. The thing is, I'm not 100% happy with everything. And I do have a VIP Discord where people are going in and they're giving me suggestions and they're beta testing it themselves. I think at the end of today's live stream, I will go ahead and post that link here. That way people can come in and you can see what more of the book is. So, let's see. Oddly enough, this whole project reminds me of Big Eyes, Small Mouth, and that's the entire reason I'm supporting it. Oh, yeah. I personally have not played Big Eyes, Small Mouth, but I know that they've done a lot for the anime scene in D&D, so I do appreciate them. But let's go ahead and talk about the races in this book. As I've shown on the Kickstarter, we have got Divine Dragons, and Divine Dragons are based off of essentially Fire Emblem. Like, that's straight up just what that is. Don't tell Nintendo. Shh. Let's see. Nekcomada, these are the cat girls. Nymph, those are pretty common in fantasy. Okami, which are kind of like spirit wolf people. We got Sand Elves, which is a race I invented in high school. We got Yurei, which are basically Japanese ghosts. And we got Zenko. And I know people are popping... people are popping off at both Shinya and Zenko. Helmed horror waifu. I think a helmed horror would go in volume 2, my friend. There's a point where every creative has to say that's enough and we have to release a product. To be fair, I stayed in Manakete years ago, so it'll be interesting to see your take. I statted at Manakete years ago. Tell you what, Shadow, why don't you join the VIP Discord after the stream, and why don't you take a look at it? Why don't you tell me what you think? And why don't you go ahead and send me your statted Manakete when you're done? So, yeah, if anyone's confused as to why people are popping off for this particular wolf girl, in Literature Devil streams, who's one of our good friend of the channel, there is a guest that frequently comes in. He does not like anime, but they created for him I think this is a wolf girl, like avatar, and he hates it. He hates it so much, and it's wonderful. So I talked to the artist, and he let me go ahead and put that and make her the chapter avatar for the races and and ancestries. Let's see. As a preface, it was for Pathfinder 1st edition. Well, you're going to fit right in. All these races are designed for all 3 editions. Blaine Simple is working on something called Silver's Monster Girl Manual. I did hear about that, and I think I followed it. I think I'll back it when it goes live. It's a cat girl? Okay. To me, I do see it, I guess. He's a wolf girl. I think that looks more wolf than cat, especially with that tail. Yeah, I plan to support Blaine's book. So, we're going to go on down a little bit. First, we'll start with Divine Dragons. So, I did kind of format the flavor text to be close to 5e as possible. That's just because I know it is actually, like, the formatting for 5e is very, very good. So, I did keep most of that formatting as close to that as possible. My vote says wolf. I think it's wolf. I think she looks like a wolf girl. So the flavor text of the Divine Dragon, is straight up the, like, immortal humanoid dragon. So I wanted to go for maybe not as close to Fire Emblem as possible, but this is supposed to be like a tragic race. Like, yeah, they're immortal and very, very strong, but they have to go to sleep every so often, like just in the video games, where I think Taki is the first one we get like that, and, you know, we see her as a very small person in the first game, and then when she shows up in later games, she's like thousands years older, and yeah. Divine Dragon looks perfect for Deladonna, sorcerer PC of mine. That sounds awesome. Gotta love the Dragon Girls. I personally do. I like this archetype of character. I love lonely immortal types, and I love turning them into characters. Oh, it's Tiki. Sorry, my bad. Okay. Tiki was the small one. Okay. All right, you're right. I'm not as good at Fire Emblem as I... Yeah. She grew up in Awakening. Yeah. Can't wait to get all my friends. So, with them... The Divine Dragons are, yeah, they're pretty much like they are in Fire Emblem, in the sense that they are built to protect the world that you've established. Again, you can change these however you want in your setting, but the way I set it up is they're pretty much the same thing. She slept for centuries. Yeah. I've got very similar lore here as well. Let's see. Divine Dragon names, physiologies, lifespans, blah, blah, blah. You really don't need to know too much about this, except the one thing special we got going on here is that they do start with a Dragon Stone. And the Dragon Stone, depending on what system you're playing as, it has variousness and importance. So if we come down here to the stats, this is kind of how the layout for the stats will work. Can everyone follow this okay? This is also looking for... I am looking for critique. So, for example, the red ones are Dungeons & Dragons 5e, the yellow ones are Pathfinder 1st Edition, and the green ones are Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Proton, Lonely Immortal, Lonely Immoral. No. Yep, looks clean. Okay, cool. So that's what the pages are pretty much going to look like. Again, when I got the prototype here, it looks a little weird in the prototype. Let's see if I can get this closer. I will need to change it a little bit, but it's pretty close. I think the lack of symmetry on some stat blocks might trigger some people. I mean, they're just gonna have to deal with that. Unfortunately, we are triple dog in this. Maybe move Pathfinder to one side. See, I did originally try that, having like Pathfinder be all the way on the right-hand side and 5e on the left, but I actually liked that a lot less. It looked less... I don't know, it looked almost more confusing. Color coding is helpful for knowing what belongs there. Makes it clustered and a little hard to read. Color coding helps a lot. I think, yeah, I will take another pass at this. What's probably going to have to happen is, because we're using magazine size printing, I'm probably going to need to make the text a little bit smaller, because otherwise it looks a little high school textbooky, which can be charming, but that's not what I'm going for. Why are the... Oh, okay, Kingwing. Why are the borders of the boxes different shapes? Actually, that was on purpose. So if you look at the ones that have like chipped off corners, if they have oblique corners like this, that's the main race. If they had inward squared corners, that means that they're subraces, or like sub powers of the same thing. So the way it works is over here. Let's see if I can highlight it. So this is your main stat block for 5e. And then it says Draconic Appendage, see next page. And then Draconic Appendage will be right here. Is that making sense? The fact that you're giving Pathfinder 1e some spotlight is cool to me. I still play Pathfinder 1e. I refuse to play anything else. I have a Kingmaker 2E game going on, but it is stressful, and I am having less fun, not because my players are not as fun, but because I enjoy the mechanics much less than I enjoy Pathfinder 1E. Maybe switch the red and green blocks so that the 5e text boxes are closer together. Okay. Good old Nightcore. Feels like it fits the book. Oh, absolutely. I listen to way too much Nightcore. Like, unironically. Like, my Nightcore playlist is extensive. YouTube knows what it does when it serves it up to me. So can we doodle in the margins? Yo, it's your book. Go for it. Draconic Appendage. Yeah, let's go over it. Let's go over it real quick. So right now, when it comes to Divine Dragons, these guys are going to be strength and wisdom based. So in 5e, let's zoom in a little bit. In 5e, your wisdom score increases by 2 and your strength increases by 1. The logic behind that is, the longer you live, the more wisdom you have. Also, they're very divine, obviously divine dragons, so they probably should gain a bonus to the divine score. And then, because they're so strong and ancient, I figured +1 strength was fine. Why is Pathfinder 2e less fun? To me, Pathfinder 2e is less fun, just for me personally. I don't have a good explanation other than it's so tight, and even a +1 to anything can swing an entire conflict. And to me, that's very stressful to design around. That's why I personally enjoy Pathfinder 2e less. When it comes to 5e or even Pathfinder 1e, like, the numbers matter a little bit less. And when it comes to 5e, it really comes down to advantage, disadvantage. And when it comes down to Pathfinder, like, you could just throw a +1 on anything and nobody really cares. Pathfinder 1e is just a broken, unbalanced system in all the best ways. That's why I like it. Let's see. Real comeback. Dragon D's nuts. It's fine. Divine Dragon. I've been trying to get into Pathfinder 2e myself. My first Pathfinder 1e experiences was about loaded. Not sure what that means. Other Divine Dragons may eventually shapeshift from monstrous to humanoid forms, but Divine Dragons shapeshift in reverse. Kinda, yeah. 69 watchers. Yo, let's go! We do? Oh, we got 70. Someone's got to leave. Sorry, them's the rules. All right. Let's see. So, size, while adventuring, Divine Dragons remain in humanoid form in order to better relate to their comrades. You are a medium creature, however, young Earthborn dragons tend to be small. Oh, that's right! I do have a distinction between Earthborn and created Divine Dragons. So, I believe in the Fire Emblem setting, a Manakete is a descendant of a divine dragon, but a divine dragon is created by their gods and kind of placed on their world. So I do have that distinction in here, not mechanically, just lore-wise. Hello! Hello from America, Luxord. Luxord? Am I saying that right? If there's a Monster Girl handbook, would be a Yurei Gumo. Is that a spider lady? Because yes. Oh, you clarify Spider Girl. Yes. Arachne changed my life. I don't know what to tell you. Let's see. Base walking speed, 30 feet. That's pretty standard. Let's see. Dark vision. Your draconic eyes give you dark vision. That's pretty standard. Don't forget about the slime idea. I won't. Believe me. No one's going to let me. Let's see. If they eat beans, they get divine wind. That's good. Draconic heritage. Your divine blood grants you resistance to radiant damage. Divine dragons are the gods. Manaketes are the dragons that took human form to survive the slow drain of magic from their world. Interesting. Okay. Let's see. So resistance to radiant damage is fairly rare, and I do think that does work a lot. I do have Draconic Appendage. Let's see. Dragonstone. When you are born or created, you are gifted with a mystical orb called a Dragonstone. No, not the wish-granting kind. That's a Dragon Ball reference. I'm going to get rid of that. A Dragonstone can be used for your spellcasting focus. Your Dragonstone is needed in order to use your Primal Bloodline features for later pages. So, when I wrote Primal Bloodline features, this was a thing I did with the Dungeon Coach. And we wrote Primal Bloodline features when we were writing our Dragon Ball stuff. And I will probably change this to just be Mythic feats. Because that's essentially what it comes down to. Okay. Let's see. Divine Magic. Someone told me I do need to rewrite this a little bit. I'll look into this for a moment. But when it comes to Divine Magic, you learn a divine cantrip from the cleric spell list. You also learn and cast one additional first level divine spell from the cleric spirit list of your choice. If you cast that spell with this trait, you can take it again after taking a long rest. And wisdom is your spell casting trait with those. That's kind of standard, but allowing the player to take any cantrip and any first level spell is a little bit stronger than normal, but not too out of pocket for modern 5e. In Pathfinder, not sure on 5e, there are artifacts called Orbs of Dragonkind. Orbs of Dragonkind, I'm pretty sure, have been around since Dragonlance days, and they do exist. You know, now that you mention it, I'm gonna actually write that. I'm gonna write that note down. I didn't even think about incorporating that. Give me a second. Waifu Handbook. I'm gonna write this Orbs of Dragonkind. Divine Dragon Effect. I'm going to put note to self. Cool. Thank you. I forgot about that. Yeah. They're in 5e too? Yeah. Definitely. Let's see. Axgen. My attempt at Pathfinder 2e was rather bad. DM was boring. Characterization. Oh, okay. Well, I don't want to talk shit about other DMs, so I'm going to avoid that. Let's see. True Dragon. Now, a lot of people liked this particular feature. So, True Dragon, you are in fact a true dragon and carry all the power and prestige that a dragon carries. You gain advantage on charisma. This is my bad. That is supposed to say persuasion. I kept writing diplomacy. I'm sorry. That is a consistent problem that I do need to fix. So whenever you see in 5e it says diplomacy, that means persuasion. Just roll with it for now, okay? So you gain advantage on charisma and intimidate checks against dragons or dragonkind. This feature allows you to also qualify for feats whose prerequisites require you to be dragonborn, half dragon, full dragon, or a dragon of any kind. Excuse me. There aren't just... I know we aren't there yet, but diplomacy isn't a 5e skill. Yeah. Old man, I just beat you. I beat you to it. Imagine a BBEG running around slaying divine dragons by using orbs of dragon to lure them into traps. Ooh. So, like, when we get to a few weeks from now, I will talk about that because this character... based on chapter 5 is very important to the setting, and that would be a very interesting thing to add in. Thank you for acknowledging it happened so many times in my proofreading. Yeah, that's my bad. That's my bad. I goofed. Let's see. Oh, and then creature type. I think I have somewhere... Because I know in the other races, it'll say, like, what creature type you are. That you are, in fact, a dragon as your creature type. So that does matter. Let's see. Dragon type for Pathfinder 1e is crazy good. Yep, it is. And at this point with Pathfinder 1e, like, the game has tossed balance a long time ago. So I really don't feel bad just giving players access to the dragon typing. Let's see. Oh boy, that's very powerful. Yeah, no. I want the races to be, one, very, very powerful, and two, very, very fun. Like, I'm going to be very careful with what I say. A lot of creators nowadays are just very, very afraid to like really dive into race as a character concept, and I'm not going to back down from that. I think that's part of the fun in fantasy, and I think that should be a major part of your characteristic. I do think it should be a big part of it, so I'm keeping it in there. This is why talking to your DMM is important. You may want to add the creature type to the 5e stat block. Yep, I'm gonna get that fixed. Anime fan, $5 super chat. Had to pause while in the store. My understanding of Yurei Gumea is that they are less Rachne and more Dr. Octopus with natural spider legs on their back. Oh. I don't care. We'll get it sorted. We'll get there. That is a we'll get there when we get there kind of post, my man. But I do appreciate, I guess, the help. Let's see. Oh, hey, we got a pledge on the Kickstarter while we were playing, or while we were talking. So, thank you guys. Would they be dragon and humanoid in 5e too? Though 5e is pretty averse to giving any race creature other than humanoid or fae. I'm fairly certain. We're gonna go with dragon. We're going for it. Like, the race is supposed to be very, like. Again, I personally like it when things are a little unbalanced, both socially and mechanically. So I say go for it. If you yourself, when you get this book, don't want to make them dragons, just make them humanoid, balance that out. But personally, me, they're dragons. I seduce as the dragon. If everyone's overpowered, no one else. Wenduog, where? I've heard good stuff about 3.5. I love 3.5. 3.5 and Pathfinder are my games. Is waifu being used as a catch-all because you prefer using that instead of calling males waifu husbandos? Okay, so waifu is mostly a it's a marketing thing. It's for fun. Like, these books are meant to be cool, but they're meant to be funny first. Like, I personally think it's funny if I have, like, here, I'm going to show you, like, probably the most masculine character in this book. I know I am absolutely all over the goddamn place. So, like, this guy right here, the lore that I wrote for him is, this is, like, the manliest man in the universe. Like, he is meat and potatoes, but also, like, really cold, calculating, very warrior, very tough. He is the he is literally a prophesized king for the Okami people. And I absolutely gave him levels in waifu. He has, I believe, 9 levels in waifu. So, I don't care. That's hilarious to me, and I'm keeping that in. If you want to change it to husbando, feel free, but I'm going to call you a coward. Let's see. Let's go back up. Going. If you're making them dragons, be aware of things like dominate and charm monster. Just something to point out. Ooh, that'll be very cool. Well, that sounds awesome. Male Setsuna? Shh. That's Setsumaru. Setsumaru is an OC, do not steal. It definitely wasn't a reference because... Let's see. Let's see. If you want, we can do or StreamYard. Okay. Lit Dev is thinking of joining, so I may get into a phone call with him. Hope you guys are cool with that. Happens to Faye too. Yeah. Can they be subdued? Could you clarify what you're asking there, Proton Stalker? I'm not certain what that means. Let's see. It's like Rudius calls Eris best husband. Yeah. So, real quick. Divine Dragon for Pathfinder 2E. They've got either or. Cool. I'm going to call Lit Devil real quick. Call here. Okay. He will also help me read comments and just stay on track, because I am a easily distracted. If you can't tell, my tism is very ADHD. So sorry about that. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Sure. Got it. I will need to change my volumes around a bit. Hello.
Hello, hello.
There you are. Ooh, you came in real loud. Let me change some things real quick. All right. And let me change it so that they can hear you better. Okay, go ahead and come back in.
Yeah, I'm here now.
You are very good. Okay, cool. Awesome. Chat, how are you hearing Lit Dev? Does he sound good to you? It could be a... Let's see. It's not cool. It could be a potential problem. Might cheese some encounters on the DMC or take away agency from players. I mean... That's neither here nor there, but whatever. We'll get back to that.
We'll see that there's no agency that you possess that I cannot take away.
Lit Dev was louder. Okay, I'll bring him down. I'll bring him down a little bit. That's fine. All right. Okay, so we're talking about Divine Dragons, Lit Dev. Do you know anything about Divine Dragons in this set?
I assume they're dragons.
Correct.
That's about all I know, though. That's where it ends.
Let's see. Someone says if he's saying something right now, I can't hear him. Well, everyone else is hearing him, so that's fine. So in the waifu setting, the Divine Dragon is going to be like the Fire Emblem Divine Dragons, if you know anything about that. They're similar. What's up? Let's see. Cool. All right, so we've got that going, and then on 5e... So for Draconic Appendage, you can get claws, wings, and tails. And for claws... I will be upping the damage a little bit, but they're basically just natural weapons that you can get. At 5th level, you can get a tail, and with the tail, you can treat it as I think a prehensile item, or like an arm or something, but it can't wield a weapon, and it does give a strike. And at 9th level, you can grow wings, and you gain a fly speed equal to your walking speed. One moment. I think I hear JoJo in the background.
All right, sounds good.
And she ran out of the room. Okay.
Problem solved.
It did.
Well, that took care of itself.
It did. So, one thing I do want to bring up, and we will need to adjust this in the final version, is that when I wrote Divine Dragon, I did create it with the intention that you do have the opportunity to transform into a dragon, but I tied it to the Mythic stuff. And at the moment, we're still in the middle of creating Mythic 5e. So right now, these are very, very rough, like, ideas. And they do need fixed. Stuart, can you only get one appendage at a time, or are they cumulative? I think at the moment, they are cumulative. And you can hide them for free, essentially. See, battle music starts to play. So yeah, Divine Dragons are one of the 2 races in this book that do get mythic abilities that you can pick up at your various tiers. If you are in the chat and you've never, like, what the hell is Mythic? Mythic is a Pathfinder rule. And they're basically super levels that you put on top of regular levels that turn your character from Aragorn into Hercules. So, just double checking. Okay. So, for example, you could still be a 10th level paladin with 1 mythic tier, and your mythic tiers are formed into, like, archetypes, kinda. You could be like an archmage, like a trickster, things like that. Mythic 5e, that's interesting. What's it about? Applying Pathfinder's mythic stuff? Pretty much. That's pretty much what it's doing. All right. At your first mythic tier, you can grab dragon form, which will basically be the way we're going to be treating Mythic tiers in 5e is that instead of getting what's called Mythic power, you can have a pool of inspiration. So, LitDev, correct me on this. You actually might know 5e a little bit better than I do, but you get inspiration at the beginning of every session, and it lets you re-roll and gain advantage on pretty much anything, right?
Pretty much, yeah. Also, you can gain inspiration whenever the DM feels like it, essentially. So it's a good way to reward players if like they role played well or they thought of something really cool or whatever, had good teamwork. But yeah, allows you to roll with advantage, I think, with any roll.
Yeah. Mage Man has suggested if you want more info on Mythic Pathfinder, go play Wrath of the Righteous. I would recommend that, but here's the thing. Wrath of the Righteous also does Mythic very wrong, but like in a very cool way. In Wrath of the Righteous, you are more becoming a mythic creature. So like you are becoming an angel, or you're becoming a lich or a demon or a devil. In Pathfinder, Mythic is just like, I'm a way better warrior than a non-mythic warrior, you know? Let's see. Shadow.
I do approve of becoming a devil, though. That's pretty cool.
I couldn't imagine why you would. What's your opinion on angels?
Not so much.
Not so much.
No. They're weaklings that don't go far enough. Okay.
Older editions had racial levels before class levels. Should that be something to consider? Actually, Shadow, I'll come back to that question. Put a pin in that question. If I don't address it in a bit, be a squeaky wheel on that one. But I do have a solution to that. Tyler Music, are the Divine Dragons going to have to use their Dragonstones? Yes! So, at Tier 1, by expanding 1 inspiration point... by the way, you have a pool of inspiration when you hit Mythic. I believe at Mythic rank 1, you can have up to 3 inspiration banked. And you can expand you can use your inspiration to do your Mythic powers. So by expending 1 point of inspiration and by holding your Dragonstone, there you go, Tyler, as a focus, you polymorph into a dragon whose CR is equal to your hit dice. You may take this ability again at Tier 6. If you do, you may add half your Mythic tier to the CR of this transformation. This transformation lasts for 1 minute. That's pretty insane. Like, okay, that's not a problem. Have you heard about Naruto 5e? I have not. Being class mods. That sounds awesome. I'll definitely take a look at it. I do know people have been asking me, what are you going to do for next year? The next book, so once we finish the Waifu book, the next book that I want to do is Mythic 5e, and that's just going to be something I'm going to do on my own, and we won't need a Kickstarter for that one. We're just going to get that one published ourselves. But next year, I'm going to do, instead of the complete Waifu Handbook, we're going to do the complete Shonen Handbook. One of the classes will be like a Naruto Shinobi, and one of the classes will be my remastered Keymaster from a long time ago. And it'll be available for all 3 systems, too. Josh Scorcher is already on board. He's having a blast helping me with this book. Well, there'll be different elemental Dragonstones as well. Let's come back to that. I think we'll expand on that once we hit higher tiers of funding. But for now, we're going to keep it as simple as possible. You must grab your stone and go, aha, like Michael Jackson for it to work. It's funny you mention that, because Josh converted all of it to 2E, and my favorite thing that he did was, for the 17th level racial, ancestry feat, he called it the most obnoxious anime thing I've ever heard. It's called No More Holding Back. And you could finally unleash your full power, and you can cast Dragon Form. And that's really funny. That's a great name for an anime attack. Remastered Keymaster and races. Correct, I will. Yeah. Does the Naruto Shinobi class get to be Children of Prophecy after hearing a speech about... I do think we should have, like mechanics for, like, Children of Prophecy or something. Like, I do want to do something like that. Have like storyline based mechanics. I believe D&D 1 or like whatever the new system is called. I think 1 D&D is doing something like that. We'll come back to that, but when the Shonen Handbook comes out, I'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Sadly, CR actually causes a lot of tables to not use inspiration. Matt knew his players were such good RPers that he went trying to judge when to get inspiration would be impossible. So glad your Mythic will be a reason to give it. Yeah. Wait a minute. Are divine dragons magical girls? Think about it. They use an item to transform. Yeah. Keymaster works fine. I'm happy to see improvements. Oh, yes. And the Shonen book, will there be a character that embodies the Baki? Yes. Okay. So I'm not telling who I want to hire, but I do want an anime rapper to do the song for next year. I'm already stockpiling a budget to hire him because I know it's going to be a lot. But I know that when I talk about the brawler class, I know the final line of that rap should be, play me if you want to play a class with some chest hair. I know that that is going to be one of... I want that to be a line in the rap. So, yeah. But that's next year. So, I'm not saying who I want to hire because I don't want to, like, scare him off already. But I do want to hire an anime rapper, and I know exactly which one I want. And I got 2 other people in mind as well. So, as well at Tier 1, you can get... let's see. You may use the Dispel, detect good and evil at will. However, instead of detecting creatures of the type listed, you can instead detect dragons and all draconic subtypes. No Lotus Juice. Will there be a card-based class for the Shonen? There will be now. Card-based Shonen class. Oh! Butterfly's on now. Waifu rap by Mori Callio. No, I'm not gonna say who it is, but I do want someone. Will we eventually see a DMD of this on your channel? What's a DM? Could you remind me what DMD is? I'm too distracted at the moment. Mike Sherry, I'm gonna call D&D 5.5 because it isn't a full edition upgrade. Also added more. Yeah. We'll come back to this. All right, so Sense Dragonkind, expand dragon magic. This is basically choose a divine domain. You learn spells from the divine domain as if you were a cleric at the same level. If you cast these spells with this trait, you can cast them again after taking a long rest. Essentially, these will need rebalanced when I get the Mythic 5e book done. The 5e book is being made as we speak. I actually have a guy who's doing all the rough draft stuff. We'll get to it when we get to it, but it should be ready to release by the time the Waifu Handbook is ready to ship. So, can you play as Dr. Alpha in the Shonen Handbook? Probably. Just gonna say, I'll be very dissatisfied. Let's see. Create artifact. Using your very immortal life force, you can create a legendary magic item as agreed upon by you and the GM. You can only use this feature once in your lifetime. You can use it again once you reach 10th level and Mythic Tier 3. At 20th level and 10th Mythic level, you can create a single artifact. I think that's a mistake. Because I swear I fixed this, because I don't think artifacts are a thing in 5e. And I think I fixed this. This might be an old version. That might be incorrect. Sarah is asking who is your waifu. That one, and that one. I married that one in real life. That's why. Met mine in middle school. She's still around for some stupid reason. They are a thing? Okay. Artifacts are a thing. Okay, alright, my mistake then. Is it an artifact about artifacts? They are okay. Cool. All right. No. All right. I thought I did it. All right. Someone was maybe it's Pathfinder 2e that has weird rules on artifacts. Let me get back to you on that one. And then summon emblem. You can create a spiritual copy of a friend or ally. This one, I am going to have to rename that. I am like, if I publish this as is, I'm probably going to get a C and D. I probably need to change this. But that is essentially what the inspiration is. You can create a spiritual copy of a friend or ally or bind them to an item. This copy matches the class, level, and alignment of the original person at the time of creation, and you can call upon this copy to fight for you or perform a task for 1 minute. You can use this ability again after a long rest or by expending 1 inspiration point. You can only have 1 emblem created or in use at a time. Let's see. Devil's Air. I still haven't found mine IRL. Have you ever considered making a One Piece inspired handbook, kind of like how you did Dragon Ball? Bro, I just watched Gear 5 not an hour ago. I want to make a One Piece so bad.
I'm back.
Hey, welcome back, bud.
Thank you. As I heard you, you were watching Gear 5, where Luffy is a weird...
Luffy turns into Bugs Bunny. That's what he does.
Bugs Bunny.
He basically turns into Popeye or Bugs Bunny and then just wipes his ass with Kaido. It's insane. It's so good. Like,
and then becomes an emperor.
Yeah, the thing is too, like, he's like, everyone compares it to Super Saiyan. Like, Luffy just fulfilled like 3 or 5 prophecies at the same time. And it's insane how much buildup and how much actual foreshadowing was going into Gear 5 that when you go back, it's like, oh shit, Oda's been planning this for a bit.
Well, I mean, he is a pretty good writer, so that's kind of how it goes.
Yeah.
You hold on to things for years. Decades, I guess, in his position.
He does, like, oh man, it's so good. That's a whole nother... That's a whole nother thing, but yeah, I do think right. Where are we at? Yeah, so summon emblem. Yeah, you create a copy. I'll need to change the name, but I do like the idea. And at Mythic rank 6 or Mythic tier 6 or whatever, that's pretty good. But yeah, that will be essentially the big Divine Dragon thing, is the fact that you get Mythic racial traits, which is incredibly rare. Even in Pathfinder, there's only like a hand. Hockey was hinted as far as chapter 1. Yeah, no, guys, like, I could talk all day about how brilliant One Piece is. If you
I like hockey. I used to play hockey at one point.
Let's see. Okay. So the one thing that I will say that I'll need to fix is that I do not have any subraces for the Divine Dragon, but I think I'll take a page out of what Josh did for Pathfinder 2e. He added a whole bunch of really smart heritages. Like, essentially, you have a different type of Dragonstone, and your Dragonstone is basically your subrace, and I really like that. That's a really cool idea. Like, one is creating items, one is you discard your Dragonstone, one is a magical Dragonstone, one is sensory, and one is summoning. I love that idea, and when we're ready to print this book for realsies, I'm going to put that in for the subraces. Any chance on a Gundam, Kenshin, Blackjack, Astro Boy? Probably a Kenshin swordsman class, I'm pretty sure.
I saw a video about like they actually gave Sakumoto to a sword master, like a real live sword master, and there's some pretty good things you can do with a reverse blade sword you can't actually do with a real sword, like a normal sword. It's pretty cool stuff. Like, just you hit with you hit it with like a regular sword. So like, you just the regular blade, you just clash sword to sword, and then you turn it so that the blade is on the back, and if the blade is on the back, so you turn the sword immediately and kill the guy. Trick him. Like, it's a lot of tricks. And it can do things quicker, and some depending on the technique. It's pretty interesting. Also, like, you just fuck up the other guy's sword, because when you clash swords like that, it's a blunt weapon. Yeah, it's blunt. It's blunt, so you're gonna chip the guy's weapon. Like, you're gonna ruin it before you ever kill him. And you can preserve your blade. So I mean, I know he's like, what Suki gave Kenshin that sword to, and for philosophical reasons, like, oh yeah, he doesn't want anymore, so it's reverse blade. But really, that's a pretty good idea. I mean, that's a pretty good advantage he gets from having a reverse blade sword.
Yep. One thing I will note is one of the reasons that I'm going to be giving away this book for free, at least the beta test version, is that I do have to redo a lot of it, and I do think one of the selling points that I think more third-party content needs to do this. I just have notes from me in here explaining what my thought process is and why we don't do certain things. Now, I put in here, you may have noticed we didn't include any mythic options for Pathfinder 2e. By the time we're ready to release this, we will have the mythic options in here, because apparently Pathfinder is dropping mythic stuff in December. So that should help a lot.
Hope so.
Yeah. Flameblade, I have a new name for someone. Emblem, Conjure, Divine Banner. That could work, sure. The original core does not cover artifacts, neither does the APG. Good to know. I'll talk to Josh about that. Let's see. As far as the feats go that I currently have for the Divine Dragon, we've got Ancient Memories. Let's see. You recall memories from your ancient past that are useful to you. You gain the following benefits. Increase your strength or wisdom by 1. Select one of the following intelligence-based skills. You may use your wisdom modifier for that skill instead of your intelligence modifier. By delving deep into your subconscious, you may extract memories about an item, person, or event. You gain surface level knowledge about the subject. You remember something that could, lead to a clue or additional information about the subject. You may use this ability again after taking a long rest. And I have 2 sub-examples of how that work. So, for example, you're trying to remember information about a legendary king from your past. You can instead recall a book published about the king that you know about the blah, blah, blah. So, like, you don't know about the king, but you know about a book about the king, you know? Or you can cast legend lore at 9th level. So this one is more of an RP feat, but at 9th level it does give you just a free ability to use. So yeah, finally religion can work like its Pathfinder 2e counterpart. I really think this seems fun. Thank you! Thank you, opening and all. I appreciate that. Where are we at? We're at 8. Still at 68 people. Thank you. Let's see.
I imagine Divine Breath is like... It's kind of like after someone ate some winter fresh gum or something like that.
So, essentially, I just gave him a breath weapon, but half the damage is going to be fire, and the other half is radiant. That's basically it.
I guess, to me, like a divine breath would be like you breathe on them and they become your friends or something. Or if they're demons or evil, they just melt.
To be fair,
like butter beneath the sun.
It would be very, very anime if we treated it like a JoJo breathing technique or like a Demon Slayer breathing technique. That would be cool.
Yeah, do that. It is called the Waifu Handbook anyway.
I'll have to add. No, that's going in the Shonen Handbook.
Oh, the Shonen Handbook?
That'll go in the Shonen Handbook.
Even better.
Yeah.
This is for men.
Oh, did you hear me when I mentioned what I wanted to do for the promo for next year?
What would that be?
So I hired Corinne to do the song this year because I knew Corinne could pull off a very 90s anime waifu song. Next year, however, I want to hire an anime rapper to do a rap for every class.
So, who's that waifu?
more like it would be the same thing, support our Kickstarter sort of thing, but in a rap form. I can talk more about it later, but essentially one of them is going to be the Baki class, and the final line for that one is play this class if you want to play with some chest hair. If you want a class with some chest hair.
Did you see the part where they scan Baki's brain after a battle, and his brain looks like a demon?
Oh my god.
His brain has a demon face in there. So it's not just their backs, it's their brains too.
JoJo for male dragons, Demon Slayer for female dragons. Let's see. Divine Breath would probably destroy most vampires in a single blow. Good! That sounds cool. Found the rules for artifacts. They're in the Game Mastery Guide, page 106. Thank you. That's helpful. Is that for Pathfinder 2e or for 5e? And then that's essentially Divine Dragon. Otherwise, if we get into the Pathfinder 2e stuff, we've pretty much done... He's pretty much made all the features that I've talked about as level up feats. And he's also taken a lot of the Mythic stuff that I created, and he kind of dished them out pretty balanced in here as well. Not me, about to destroy an entire vampire base in a single breath. Either way, I think that's it for Divine Dragon. Does anyone have any questions about Divine Dragon before moving forward, or any suggestions? I know Maneki has been brought up several times, and we will address it. Don't forget, at the end of the stream, I will be passing out links to the VIP Discord, where you can come in and look at stuff. I will also be dropping this beta test book in announcements by the end of the stream.
Look at lots of stuff. Like Daddy.png.
No! They've always been in the... Alright, cool. Alright, I believe everybody now. I do wonder if Divine Breath should work with more stats, given how 5e has been treating feats of late. Someone mentioned, like, I think I statted their breath weapon with strength, and someone really didn't like, I think it was, who's my guy? One of my beta testers, Kitsu, really didn't like that idea, and I'll come back to it. Personally, I think you should, be able to base it off of a different stat. But yeah. I think I've covered all my stuff in the deep dive PDF. Kitsu, I actually have your thing right here, man. So it's very helpful. I've been reading it as we've been going. But I just haven't really spent like a couple hours to read and absorb it. I've just been kind of skimming it. They usually use a mental stat or con. Yeah. No, I know. I like races that do different things, or maybe like I could even put in the feature, like you can choose to use strength or wisdom or something. I don't know. I just want something different, and I'm being a giant baby about it, and I'm acknowledging that I'm probably being unreasonable. But yeah. Pog, I'll be there to answer questions. A Toon Race? That is a different book. Wouldn't it make
it's like a Pegasus in there?
Wouldn't it make more sense to base the breath weapon off of con, since it has more to do with breeding than brute force? Yeah, it does. Y'all make really good cases.
What if it's about like the race has no breath weapon until they work out a lot in the gym, and then they...
Like you need like 15 strength to even use the breath weapon.
Yeah, to unlock it. You can be the race, you can have the breath weapon, technically speaking, but you can't really use it unless you're like really Chad, when you're really buff. And if you don't work out in the gym and you lose those muscles, well then your strength goes down and you lose the weapon.
Let's see. No Jessica Rabbits. Oh, we need to fix this. Actually, hold up. Adding a Toon Race now.
Toon Race.
Well, we gotta add the Jessica Rabbits. I can't believe I forgot.
Well, is there like a thing you can have in the Shonen Handbook where the female characters, if they have larger breasts, they have higher AC? That's a Shonen thing, right?
More to do with breed. No,
so like all like fighter women will have like a natural. You know that the barbarian has more AC if he fights unarmored.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll word like that for women in the Shonen Handbook, because like the whole thing of the scantily clad female character has like armor and can never get hit, like the whole the fantasy armor trope thing.
So so we need to add like a feature called like. Thing is, now that you mention it, like, I could add a feat that like adds your charisma into your AC instead of like your dex.
I think I could have sworn somebody does that. Like I think the monks use wisdom or something like that for their AC.
Monks use wisdom. There's like I think I'm pretty sure, like you said, barbarian uses something else. But like I do like the idea of like bikini armor. Yeah. You know what?
The higher the charisma, the it goes into the AC for some reason. Like this for some reason. Only women though. It's female privilege.
I mean, nah, that does go a little bit against the spirit of the book, because I did give the manliest character 9 levels in Waifu. So
Maybe it's a waifu ability. It's a possibility you can choose. You can choose to get that feat or something.
Oh yeah, like with the waifu subclass for 5e. You know what? Yeah, no, let's do it. Because we did unlock expanded classes, so I think that's a good idea, actually. You know what?
Like best girl armor or something.
You're onto something. Yeah, let's come back. Put a pin in that. Someone make a note somewhere. Okay, so one thing I do want to point out is that, yes, people recognize this girl right here. This is Watashi from the Pokemon campaign. I have like 7 or 8 years worth of art assets saved up. And when people asked me to play Cat Girls, this was the closest that I had. And fortunately, Nekcomada do have 2 tails in Japanese folklore. So this is what we got. When we hit 70,000, I'm not even going to say if anymore. When we hit 70,000, Alex is going to redo a lot of the artwork. And Watashi is going to get an overhaul, because I want basic Watashi to be in the Shonen Handbook. I want the blonde weeby anime girl in that book. So let's see. Yeah. So, yeah, people recognize Watashi. So, Nekcomada. Yeah, people don't seem to have any more questions on Divine Dragons. We're going to move on. Nekcomada in Japanese folklore are really weird. Because I think the lore is... They do come in both domestic and feral. And feral Nekcomada can become like giant scary-ass yokai. So I do have those. I just don't have any artwork of feral Nekcomada.
Then get them domestic or on tap. They both work.
Let's see. I bet you can I can bet someone is going to use this book and make an excuse to make a harem anime campaign. Yeah.
I think that's what it's for, right?
That's kind of the idea. Literally, okay. This is a next week discussion. But the Bard subclass final ability is called Harem. Do with that as you will.
Harem Jutsu.
Do with that as you will. Let's see. Nekcomada. Let's see. $5 from Anime Fan. Important note for charisma modifier armor. One D&D has playtest of a bard subclass that does that. College of the Dance. Literally charisma monk bards. Ooh, sounds good. Send me a copy of that. I'll take a look at it. Cute feet. Moving on. I saw cute feet and I had to pause, and I was like,
wait a minute. Not today.
Yeah, not in this household. So the way we have them working, we have them very similar to Japanese folklore. I do have a thing here where I say they pretty much mature to adults at either 8 or 10 years old, which is consistent with some folklore. You could choose to ignore that if you want, and I even noted right here, like, you can ignore that. I know that's really icky to a lot of people, but
it's just lore consistent.
Yeah, it is. Let's see. A Nekcomada reaches adolescence around a year's time and become young adults at around age 6 and can live to be nearly 100 years old. Yep. So that's consistent with Japanese folklore. Same thing. Let's see. Going down, what do they got? So what I love about Nekcomada in Japanese folklore, they are natural necromancers. They like, necromancy is really scary in Japanese theology and folklore, because touching a dead body is considered one of the worst things you could do. Butchers were like lowest of the low in Japanese mythology, or Japanese society. They were like lower than slaves almost. No one liked them. In fact, police, when they found it, they weren't called police, they were called magistrates. But when they found a dead body, no one would touch it. And, like, investigating murders just wasn't a thing, like, back then. And unless it was a samurai that was killed. And forensics and, like, looking at bodies just wasn't a thing that they did. So, yeah. So, indicating Nekcomada could be as big as your feral Neko. Yes. Got any Oni waifu? Not yet. They will be in Volume 2 if we reach that stretch goal. Yes, so they are Necromancers. And in fact, I do have that feat. We'll talk about it in a minute. So, real quick, going through it, they gain bonus to dexterity. They're a medium creature. Base walking speed is 30. They have dark vision. That's consistent. The big thing that they have, however, they have a breath weapon. So, their breath weapon fires and explodes like a fireball, but not as big. And it explodes in a 10-foot radius sphere centered at the point. They make a dexterity saving throw. They take 2d6 fire damage, and the damage is half fire and half necrotic. Because, again, in the folklore, they do shit with ghost fire, and I think that's really, really cool. So we're gonna treat it as half fire, half necrotic. Hey Riley, how you doing? I can do that easily. That's fine. Natural necromancy. You learn the cantrip Spare the Dying, and at 3rd level you learn Gentle Repose. At 5th level you can choose between Animate Dead, Summon Undead, or Revivify. After choosing one, you may cast it with the trait, and after each... Yeah, blah, blah, blah. That's pretty consistent. This, someone has told me, is too strong. And I'd say maybe. Maybe.
Perhaps.
Maybe, yeah. So, yeah. I do... Maybe it's too strong, maybe not. And then as far as the sub-races go, you can choose as domestic or feral. The domestic cat girls get a charisma score increase. The feral ones get a constitution. Oh, really? Constitution. Huh. I thought I gave them strength. My bad. Let's see. 5e domestic, they learn calm. They get an ability called Calming Presence, and everyone loves that pun. They can cast Calm Emotions, and it goes off in a 10-foot radius around yourself. I think Kitsu, that's your name? Kitsu? Yeah, Kitsu has suggested that I buff this a little bit, and that's fine. I'll do that. Feral, and the feral get cat claws. Anime fan for $1.99. I sent the best link I could. Thank you. Azure, maybe too strong, but will people know or care the difference between necromancy and nekomancy? Let me get back to that. The numbers. Do the natural necromancy spells require the material components? I can see Revivify still requiring its components, but not Summon Undead. I do not believe they need the components in my original writing, but let me talk to my boys about that one, or again, come to the Discord at the end of the stream. Because I don't know. Again, 5e is not my game, so balancing that one is a little trickier for me. I do recommend a lot of small buffs. Okay, cool. Have you thought about a body pillow mimic? Yes, we're adding that. Make a note. Make a note. Body pillow mimic. It's awesome.
Look at this guy who sells body pillows, and like most of them normal, but he'll sneak a mimic in there every once in a while.
Oh my god, Evelyn Rose, you've got me to pledge myself to this glorious cause. Thank you. Click on, if you wouldn't mind, clicking on the link in the description. We have actually gotten like 9 new pledges since we started streaming, so thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Oh, are you? Oh, that's right. Your video came out today.
It's 6,000 views. It's not going as fast, but it is at 6,000 views. So
6,000 in the first couple hours. That's pretty good. Because remember, if you reach 10% of your audience, then That's a good day.
It's going pretty fine, I think.
I'm trying to remember. How long ago was that post?
I launched it like 6 hours ago.
That's 1,000 an hour. That's not bad.
Not too bad.
Yeah. Let's see. Breath weapon. Let's see. So yeah, we got those. And then for the feats. Now, one thing I did point out. Who asked this? I think it was the numbers.
The cute feats.
The numbers asked, will people know the difference between necromancy and nekomancy? So I've written here, necromancy is in nearly every popular RPG setting is considered evil. For the purpose of Nekcomada necromancy, we encourage role-playing it for your particular setting. For me personally, I treat necromancy as something like using solar-powered energy as opposed to like using gas. Like, you're still using electricity, but one's a bit more natural, and it's treated like, oh, this is just a thing that happens, you know? So
yeah, one you can eat like a lot of Taco Bell and get infinite power.
Riley K, thank you. Axtian suggested Daki Mimica. That pun is more painful than calming presence. You should probably get feral strength and endurance. I think you're.
I have heard of this one item from I think 5e or something like that. Maybe it was 5e, where it's like you wear a cloak of a tamed mimic, and it's just a cloak that you wear, but it's actually a mimic, and you could throw it on enemies or something.
Ooh. Okay.
So maybe like a tamed body pillow that's a mimic, and then you could launch it at enemies or something, or it's a trap. Then you could leave it in your rest of your stuff. So if someone tries to steal in the middle of the night, the mimic will just like eat them.
I know someone. Alex and I were actually brainstorming what would a intelligent Dakimakura be like, and of course everyone gets their mind in the gutter and goes, "Oh, that poor Daki." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's definitely a risk."
Nanomachine, son.
So you're saying me raising an army of undead soldiers to waylace the entire country is good for the environment? Yeah, you're reducing carbon footprint. Absolutely. You're recycling? I can't see how it's anything but good. Although I do see MB's point, I will come back to that. A tamed cloaker. So yeah, Nekcomada feats. Let's see. One feat is Ghostfire's Soul. Your soul becomes permanently engulfed in Ghostfire. You gain the following benefits: 1 Dex or Charisma. You gain resistance to necrotic. Oh, and fire damage. Whenever you cast a spell or ability that deals fire or necrotic damage, you may treat half as fire and the other half as necrotic. Whenever you cast a spell this way, you may reroll one of them. This is kind of a standard feat at this point. Nekcomada feats. Are these cute feats? Shush.
Yes.
Necromancers can always find more help on the gold. Those are good resistances. Yeah. Those are both good. Necrotic and fire are very common. So yeah, that's very strong. Let's see. Natural necromancy grants you... Oh, yeah, so the feat Necromancy. Your natural necromancy grants you additional powers you weren't fully aware of before. You gain the following benefits. Your natural necromancy allows you to learn Animate Dead, Summon Undead, and Revivify instead of just one of them. And whenever you cast it, you gain 1 additional corpse, pile, zombie, whatever. I'm fairly certain Kitsu has spoken on this one. And I will come back to that. But for now, that's very strong, but I also really like it. Are we going to add legendary Pokemon as White Plus? Aren't also Nekcomada shapeshifters? That's a Kitsune thing, actually. So I personally am very happy with Nekcomada. I think they're super cool. I also like the idea of necromancy being tied to the race. And it's just very Japanese. I just really like this race. We will be changing the artwork once we hit 70,000, so say goodbye to Blonde Watashi. This character will be changed in the final update. Sorry, that's just what we're gonna have to do.
We're going to have updated Watashi.
We're going to have updated Watashi. I do think she should still be kind of annoying, but, like, more in a Kitsune kind of way. Or not kitsune, more in a cat girl kind of way. Are we doing a Tanuki race? No. As a casual reminder, we have Divine Dragon, we have Nekcomada, we got Nymph, Okami, Sand Elves, Yurei, Zenko, and because we reached the stretch goal, we have Lamia. Tanuki, as far as transformations. You might be right. You might be right. So bye-bye Espeon. Yeah, the Espeon design is going to go. I think we'll keep the Suicune design. I think we'll keep... we will probably redraw her, but I do think this design is perfectly fine. Necromancy Wizard subclass feature. It's very powerful. Okay, cool. Not just... Okay, Tanuki are also capable. Alright. So, nymphs... nymphs are basically just like they are in Greek mythology. This is kind of the out of... I will admit this one is a little out of place in the sense that there's... Like, yeah, there's a lot of elemental kami in Japanese mythology, but nymphs are like almost exclusively a Greek thing. But we are going with it because I have the artwork, and why not? Espeon was based off...
already had the assets.
Yeah, why not? The nymph girl is cute. Thank you. A loading crew, making the races as cute and pretty as possible. Me making a barbarian Nekcomada who's less of a cute kitty and more of a bloodthirsty tiger. Bro, go for it! Actually, my inspiration for the feral cat girl... Okay, this is going to take a second for me to find, if you guys can wait for me. But, actually, there she is, step 5. Hold on. This is one of my favorite series on YouTube made by a Korean animation team called Sambaxa. And the feral cat race was inspired by... Where is he? Where's my boy? I'm trying to remember. Does he get the egg thrown at him in here? Let's see. Is it in this one? Oh, there he is. There's my boy. So this giant cat right here, I don't know if you can see it, Lit Dev, but yeah, that is my inspiration for the feral cat guys. And when I eventually create my own feral cat guy, it's gonna look like him, just absolutely fucking shredded and like huge. Maybe not shredded, but he's gonna be absolutely jacked. And I'm definitely going to base it off of that right there. I once played a monk nymph. Oh, yep.
Have you seen that music video with the 3 cats that go into the club? I think it's like really popular.
Is it the one where it ends in like a shootout?
Yeah, and everyone's like this blood everywhere.
Yeah, that's I'm trying to remember what that's called.
It's by Caravan Palace.
Yeah. One moment. Okay. Sambaxa did a sequel. Yes, they did. They did do a step 6, but it was only released on a Kickstarter, and they have not re-released it. Also, not to kill the momentum and love for Sambaxa, but I know a lot of people care about this. They're doing NFTs, and if you're against that, they're going for it. So a Zangief feral cat boy? Yes, absolutely. More like a cat. I'm turning my cat boy into a cat man, actually. Again, I'm not opposed to like twink types, but I think modern pop culture has enough twinks, and I want to add more manly men back to this book.
Yeah, more manly men.
Yeah.
80s style. I
mean, chat, you may not be able to tell, but if you look at me, I'm quite muscular, and where's my representation, chat? Yeah. Where's my representation of the chubby power builders? Come on. I deserve this too. Lumberjack cat. Yeah. Let's see. People are just throwing their ideas out. Yeah, so I should probably ask, does anyone have any questions about Nekcomada before we move on to Nymph? I didn't really open the floor. We could have Necromancy and Necromancy work together until they get a few breaks off from one of each other. I think everyone's pretty fine with it. Everyone's just throwing ideas. Okay. Anyway, back to this. Sorry. Let's see. Dryads. Malier? How do I say this, dude? Is that Malier?
Let's see. A little delay over here.
I'll drop it in our personal chat. Malier.
I've never seen that term before. I've seen Dryad and
I've seen Dryad, Naiad, and Nereid, but Malier apparently come from ash trees. Dryads are wood nymphs bound to trees. Everyone knows those. Malier are specifically ash trees, and according to every Greek lore I could find, they're also healers, and I was not aware of this. Naiads are freshwater nymphs, and they're kind of like the social nymphs, and then Nereid are sea nymphs, and they're kind of nasty, so...
I guess the Naiad are the ones that Phil was chasing after in Hercules.
Yeah, actually.
He was spying on some nymphs bathing in water, so maybe it's those. He's going after some Naiads.
Chubby Power Builder is based... Let's see. Now that we're men, we're manly men, we're men in tights, and we're
men in tights. Go around looking for fights.
Throw a guts Nekcomada? Dude, kinda. You know what? The feral, like, guts cat made Okutsuna's sword. That's canon now.
His guts cat.
How would Nymph differ itself from the elemental races like Jensei, Elemental Kid, Ifrit, Oread? So, I actually mention in this book that Oread were actually nymphs that broke off from the nymph race. Because Oread in Greek mythology are in fact stone nymphs, but Pathfinder has since kind of taken them and turned them into elemental people, and I just kind of left that alone. I didn't want to bring them back in.
We make them like a race of podheads. Like
because they're stoners.
Nymphs. Stone nymphs. No, man, we're not stone nymphs. We're stone nymphs, man.
You know what? I do owe people a 5th subrace for nymphs. We could bring them back.
And I kind of have a bunch of like abilities they can have that includes like drug consumption.
We do need a new name for them, because I do want to avoid confusion with the Pathfinder race. So we should call them like Ori. No. Don't say it. We'll work on that. We're gonna workshop that one. One where I can't get sound clipped into saying something that people don't like anymore.
We'll call it something racist.
Oh my goodness.
We'll call them silkbacks.
I want this. Thank you. Is the name sus? No. Anyway, moving on. So nymphs.
Moving right along.
Nymphs get increased to charisma naturally. Let's see. Most are between 4 to 6 feet. They have a walking speed. They have dark vision. Blinding beauty. This is an AoE attack. All enemies must succeed a Constitution saving throw. This is based off of the nymph creature in 5e. I basically gave them that. And if they're blinded, they make a saving throw every round to become unblinded. Yeah, so true Fae, your creature type is considered Fae. Additionally, you have advantage on saving throws against being charmed, and magic cannot put you to sleep. So we do have that. Unearthly Grace, this is one of those AC boosting racial traits where your AC is 12 plus your charisma or dexterity modifier, whichever is higher, and you also get a shield benefit. That's pretty standard to 5e. And then Nymphs and Pathfinder get a similar thing. Let's see. I think that's pretty standard for Nymphs. And then going over to really the sub-races is what kind of differentiates them. For Wood Nymphs, they get a bonus to dexterity. They can speak with plants. They can meld into trees.
Speak with plants, perfect.
For the stoners?
For the stoners, yeah.
Of course, of course.
they get maybe a hyper awareness, like a deeper understanding of the surroundings because they're so stoned. But they have to be stoned first.
Of course. Let's see. Ash. So the Ash Nymphs get medicine as a skill. They can create a balm that applies cure wounds. They get the tree meld, same as Dryad. If anything, Ash Nymphs might be a little bit better than Dryad. I might need to boost Dryads just a little bit. They give you wood. I like that. Do you believe it? Can you receive? Ooh, okay, this is a good... I like this mix. Let's see, Naiad, Freshwater Nymph. Let's see, they're amphibious. They can... Oh, yeah, this one's a little bit different. You are charming and friendly. You could have a D6 inspiration die. As an action, you can grant an ally a token, typically a lock of your hair, granting them a D6 akin to a bardic inspiration that they can use within 8 hours. You can use this feature once and may regain your expended use when you finish a long rest. I think this is really cool. I have not seen a race do anything remotely like this. But in Greek mythology, naiads were the ones that went up and talked to humans. They had no problems talking to men. What is the background music? It is Nightcore, God is a Girl. Anime fan. I thought the stone nymph, in order to avoid any confusion with 5e with Earth Genesee. What about making them metal or ore themed? Ooh.
Just metal nymphs.
Metal nymphs.
They just played music all day.
Well, the thing is, metal... Naturally occurring metal... Okay, anime fan, that's a really good idea. Bank that for me. If a
And the waifu version just slices your dick off.
They have to eat the hair. Gross. Nereid, Saltwater Nymph. These are basically sirens. They do get the Ashen Splash cantrip. That's pretty standard. And they have advantage to dexterity stealth checks while submerged in water. Gold Nymphs. Yeah, well, that sounds kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, there's a writer I like called named Piers Anthony, and he had this he makes the series I like called Incarnations of Immortality, but he also did some other one-off books. One's called like Pornocopia, and that one opened up with a guy on a beach who saw this like beautiful woman coming down over there, and he instantly has sex with him and like this without a word, and it turned out that she's a succubus. But what he made is he made mythical lore about the succubi, where the normal ones, they siphon the man, and then they become men, become incubi, and then they go off and they impregnate a woman somewhere. The thing is, the reason he has the question of, hey, why do you have to do it right away? Oh, because the winnings don't stay prime for very long. It was like, but she does mention that they have cousin succubi that are like cold, which are able to keep the prize fresh longer. But you can have, so when you make your oni race,
I think, you know what, when we reach 300, I say as if that's an inevitability. When we reach
a million,
when we reach 300,000, and in honor of Josh Scorcher, who definitely wanted this book more than anyone else, we'll publish the Ara Ara edition for sure.
The Ara Ara edition.
Does the Naiad inspiration scale up like the Bard inspiration? I don't have it doing that, but I think we should add more racial features to let them do that. Like, essentially, like, Naiad... I don't know what it would be called, but probably like Naiad inspiration, where your die would level up as a bard, and if you are a bard, you get more inspiration or something. I do like that idea. Again, we reached the goal for expanded races, so we'll come back to that. I definitely like that idea, though. Do the spellcasting abilities for all the nymphs work like Sap Bomb or Nereid's No, so it's just with Sap Bomb, they create an item, With Acid Spray, they just spit poison as an attack. So they just learn the cantrip. Nothing crazy. Nymphs are Pokemon. A little bit. For the feats, I got Nymph Beauty and Nymph Maniac. I thought that was funny. For Nymph Beauty, your beauty is beyond compare and too much for many creatures. You gain the following benefits. Con or Charisma. Your blinding beauty ability may be used a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. If a creature is blinded by your beauty, they suffer disadvantage on all subsequent checks to remove the blindness. I think Kitsu suggested make this standard because races are just so powerful now that might as well make this a thing. Nerd Caveman, welcome to the stream. Nice to see you. How about a Naiad Muse? Ooh, I like that. Writing that down. Naiad Muse. Thank you, AAA. Appreciate that.
What if they're up against like a Luffy kind of character first? You know, for example, would the blinded by the beauty still work?
Yes, because I imagine it works a lot like Galadriel's little freak out in Lord of the Rings. You know how she like turned into
as terrible as the dawn.
Yeah, essentially. So you could still be intimidated by the light, I guess they produce. Yeah. All of the checks seem a bit much. I think I just have the subsequent checks to remove the blindness, not every single check. Luffy would be blinded by nymph meat. By a meat nymph. Oh.
It's a meat nymph.
That sounds like a zombie, my friend.
It's a meat nymph.
It's a meat nymph.
Meat golem.
Meat golem.
Like a meat golem.
Yeah, beauty is not necessarily attraction. Yeah, definitely not.
Did you ever see the Gamer's third movie where it's about card games?
Yeah, I didn't like it as much.
Not as good. I mean, it has Cass as the main character, but there's that conversation where that one guy, like, he keeps trying to push on everyone. Like, what if you cut off the penis of a Hydra?
Hydra.
And he's talking to Lodge's girlfriend. He's like, fine, yes, they would grow too.
But then, if you make it aroused, would it lose enough blood?
So once the dick has grown a lot of enough heads, you make it aroused, and then the blood will just rush all to the dick, and it would die.
Yeah, I think that's great.
And then the next time, the next question is, what do you do with all the severed dicks? And he's like, oh, penis golem. I think that fit right into your handbook here.
I think it would. Yeah, penis golem for sure. Yeah, specifically Hydra penis golem.
Hydra penis. All right, must be Hydra penis.
Nymph Maniac. You've become accustomed to all forms of art and nymph craft. You gain the following benefits. You can communicate with all nymphs, including Oreads, regardless of language barriers. After a long rest, you may select one of the following racial abilities. You may use that racial ability as if you had that subrace. You're able to use tree mode and amphibious, regardless of your nymph subrace. So essentially, this one just gives you access to all the nymph racial abilities. I don't think that's too OP. It makes your character very flexible, but also it is kind of... it's a little underpowered. I do think this could be powered up a little bit. I mean, it's technically cutting off the head. Thoughts on making an edition of the handbook based on creatures from games turned into waifu, like Waifu Creeper or Waifu Enderman?
I don't know unless you can kind of sell them off as parodies.
Yeah. And also, Mojang have been bastards lately. They have, like, cut, like, all fan artists off at the knees. So, unlikely, unless we get creative with the names. But that is definitely a thing. That's a question for Volume 2. But yeah, does anyone have any questions about the nymphs? That's pretty much what I got for them so far. Oh yeah, and they have a shitload of racial feats that Josh Scorcher came up with ancestral feats. God, I do not like calling it ancestry. It's so annoying. Enderman, Waifu, Void Folk. Creeper Girl is still on YouTube. Nymphs are cute. Correct. I do like the suggestion some people have been coming up with, like, with a metal nymph or a gem nymph. I do like both of those. Those are a really cool idea. We'll come back to that. We're going to give it a couple more seconds while we're waiting. And we're back up to 68 people. We're not at 69, though. We do need to be at 69. I think that's very important. Okay. Since we haven't gotten any questions... So sea nymphs as sirens, so no mermaid. No, in I think pretty much most D&D settings, mermaids are an entirely different creature. So we're gonna leave that alone. Gym nymph is a sable-eyed Kajinka. A knight with Nyada. I have a question, but I don't want to spam it. Imagine they think the word tree hugger is lewd. I would think the term tree hugger would be very offensive to them.
Get out of my way, tree hugger.
Kazuna, the character, still a ninja I want to hug.
What's up, my tree hugger?
Can you imagine Nymph rap? Like...
got a T word pass.
They got a T word pass. A forge nymph. Ooh, that sounds cool. A treasure nymph. Excuse me. Their husband's gonna be like, "You're my treasure nymph."
She's like, "I know."
I see battle heels. I approve. Yes. So this piece of artwork was actually done by our regular artist, Lady Nanaki. And this was actually for a Kingmaker campaign that never happened. And she came up with this, like, cat, like this, she said it was a cat girl, but that ain't a cat. I don't know what to tell you. That is definitely a wolf girl, like, top to bottom. Are the nymphs fae? Yes, they are.
I think the best version of battle heels I've ever seen have been on Samurai Jack. When he lost his shoes and had to keep getting like new shoes, and like he got these high heels with blades on them. Those were like literal battle heels. Like he got them for weaponry. So, and then they showed off his legs a little too well, and he got embarrassed, so he returned them. But they worked fine.
I do think battle heels should definitely be a thing, though. So
they got like an item you can wear.
Mm-hmm.
But it requires at least one level in waifu.
The tail is the cat. That is a wolf's tail, my dude. I don't know what to tell you. That is a wolfish tail. I've never seen a cat with that kind of tail. How long is the campaign gonna last? We got, what, 26 days left? 26 days left. Storm nymphs. Ooh, I like that. Zero Suit Samus's heels are pretty good. Will there be a reincarnation table for the waifu races? Oh! Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, we can come up with that. Yeah, I'll write that down.
No, they die forever.
Bayonetta has heal guns. Yeah, actually. Alright, cool. Alright, so Okami... Okay, I will admit, when I released this book, Okami were very underbaked. I could have done more with Okami because someone suggested... so essentially, Okami in this setting are going to be wolf people, but they're always tied to, like, mythical or monstrous wolves. So, like, a dire wolf or a winter wolf. Winter wolves are a very cool Tolkien creature that have, like, breath weapons and stuff. So I only did the two because I just wanted to do a male Setsuna, and I wanted to do the this Okami girl. Giggity. So I only did Direwolf and Winterwolf to start. Because we hit the expanded races, we're also going to add Hellhound. We're also going to add Sunwolf, like Amaterasu. And I want to add Ghost Wolf. So I'm 100% on board with Storm Nymphs. Storm Nymphs sounds awesome, actually. I really like that. If a waifu dies in the game, they die in real life.
He died in real life.
What type of waifu would you make? Well, I made all these waifus, so I don't know what to tell you. Little Red Riding Wolf. Casually making a giant Okami that's a reference to Fenrir. I love the Ghost Wolf. No Blink Dog. Blink Dogs!
It's a race.
Okay, yep, Blink Dogs. I think that passes... You know what? Blink Dogs. I don't fucking care. That's rad as hell. Thank you. I totally forgot about Blink Dogs. Yes, I love it. Cerberus, while as fun and as creative as I know some artists can get with a Cerberus girl, gonna pass. Gonna pass. What happens if an Okami gets bitten by a werewolf? They will catch lycanthropy just like any other wolf because they are humanoid in this one. So, Okami traits. Your strength is increased by 2, your wisdom is increased by 1. Okami can be anywhere from 4 to 8 feet tall and range from 1 to 400 pounds. They have dark vision. They have keen senses. Meaning they get advantage on perception checks that involve smell, scent, or hearing. They have a pair of natural weapons, and they come currently in Direwolf and Winterwolf. We will get to Hellhounds later, promise. What about Helltaker Cerberus? Listen, just because you mentioned one of my, dreams doesn't mean you get a free pass. Don't do Goblin Dogs, absolutely not. Werewolf squared. Wolf girl gets bitten by a wolf man and becomes a full wolf. Skull and Hati, who chase the sun and moon. I think we're going to limit it to the 6 that we got. I think that's already a lot. So, Direwolf, Winterwolf, Ghost Wolf, Hellhound, Sun Wolf, and Blink Dog. Thank you for that suggestion, by the way. I really like the idea of Blink Dog. That's too good. So with Direwolf, they get powerful build. They can also strike harder with a weapon. Winterwolves get a breath weapon. Kitsu just messaged me and said, I'm working on Blink Dogs right now. Thank you, Kitsu.
It's like a band, actually, of Blink Dogs.
Maybe a Cerberus is just a split personality and has resistance to mental effects like Sakura and Naruto Classic. Maybe. Gonna come back to that. I'm not wild about. You can tell you what, you could do it. I probably am not gonna. I also don't want to commission artwork of that. Let's see.
Is there like a ninja class so that if someone wants to play Watashi, because I know she's like a ninja, quote unquote.
How
about like a ninja, quote unquote class? Like not really.
The closest I think D&D proper has to ninja is Arcane Trickster, which is a subclass of rogue.
There's no like weeb ninja class or something?
Not really. You just kind of flavor it. Like one thing I dislike about D&D that Pathfinder does very well. Pathfinder, you could pretty much turn any idea into a class, you could probably make something decent. With 5e, it's almost impossible because creating a new class in 5e is very hard because the class is so broad that the subclasses pretty much do all the work for you. And even then, the only time it really makes a difference is, you could have a party full of warlocks and they can all play extremely differently. And that's pretty much the only class that does that in 5e. Maybe artificers too, but yeah. If you're doing waifus, implement the different dare stereotypes. I'm gonna come back to that one. Path of the Shadow Monk is pretty close to a ninja thing. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be more like something on player preference? Like something really that'd be in the book? Just she's one of these. She's a tsundere.
Yeah, that's pretty much how you roleplay. I mechanically adding tsundere and yandere stuff. Kind of tricky, at least in a race, and today we're just talking about races.
Yeah, talk about race.
Yep. Winter Wolves get a breath weapon. They also are resistant to frost damage, and their natural weapons can deal frost damage instead of piercing damage, or whatever. For their racial feats, I got 2. For the first racial feat is Glacial Weapons. To be able to do this feat, you need to be an Okami, and you need to either be able to use a spell or an ability that deals cold damage, and you combine the powers of both Okami tribes to create a large ice weapon. And essentially, as a bonus action, you can either create or encase your weapon in ice for 1 minute. This weapon is in the shape of whatever weapon you want. The weapon deals its normal damage plus an additional 1d6 cold damage, and it's admittedly a little underwhelming. It's much, much better in Pathfinder, where you create a large version of your weapon. Let's see. Pack tactics. As a wolfkin, your sense of camaraderie and familiarity is stronger than most humanoids. You gain the following benefits. After a long rest, declare a number of allies equal to your proficiency modifier to be in your wolf pack. So long as one member of your wolf pack is in 5 feet of your target, you have advantage on melee attack rolls against that creature. So basically, you can flank. That's the big thing. No. Devil's hair, no. Pass on that. But yeah. Does anyone have any questions on Okami? Chat, no.
That would be pretty interesting. Put a list of a table of racial slurs for each one.
Okay, that does sound funny.
Yeah, like a Dragon Age, you call it the elves' knife ears or something.
Yeah, yeah. I do like that. That's really funny. I personally think that there is going to be this is going to be quoted out of context. I personally think adding like really creative slurs is important to your setting. Like, that's really bad. Like, it's really bad to say, but I think it is, like, that adds a lot. Like, it's very human experience. Like, on a macro scale. And it's a really, it's one of our worst things as humans to do. Obviously.
Hear it here first, folks. Racism is important. But, as Stu would say. As the inventor of racism.
As the inventor, of course, yeah. Perhaps an Okami mythic power for going Super Saiyan? One for elves is leaf lickers? Oh. Ooh, I don't... That's cutting. Let's see. You do have a dedicated samurai class in D&D. Let's see for us. You can always have someone click their tongue when a hoofed tiefling walks by. Ooh, that one's nasty. That's nasty. I like that.
Bang 2 coconuts together.
I'm thinking of curse centaur slurs for 2-legged races. They used a slur in Captain America. Did they? Rabbit spawn is one of my favorite slurs towards humans. Oh, for the record, in this book, you're not going to see the word human a lot, actually. My word for basic bitch human is Mythic. And I'm going to type that out. Mythic in my setting is a combination of 2 words. It's a combination of both basic and man. And that is what I use for the basic humans. And I use the word human for pretty much any humanoid. I don't like the word humanoid in fantasy settings because that word is not a thing in, like...
Sounds very sci-fi.
It's very sci-fi. So I say the word human for anything that can, like, interbreed. And then I use Mythic for humans. So that's what I personally like to use. I know a lot when I've made that suggestion before, nobody liked that suggestion, but I say they're wrong. Mythic Mitch. That's funny. When you play as a litter folk, always called non-scaled things. Final Fantasy XIV. Yeah, Final Fantasy XIV has Hume, which I do, and that came from Tactics, actually. Hi, Hoenn.
Hi ho.
Hi ho! Is that a dwarf? A hi hoen? Oh my
Hi
god!
hoen.
What a great slur.
It's a fantastic slur.
That's really creative. Was driving Setsumaru used for character design base. Use Zagreus from Hades. Ooh, use Zagreus from Hades as a hellhound. Well, if hey Alex, you there? What do you think about doing a female Zagreus for a hellhound? You just preheated her oven. Thank you, chat. Thank you, chat. After stream is over. Thank you so much. I did say I was going to go work out. Oh, that's my cardio. There we go.
It's a cardio.
I was gone for Huma for human race. It gives the same feel when you say elf or dwarf. That's fine. Monkey. Now chat is just spamming like made up racial slurs.
Let me make like an optional add-on, like a whole pamphlet of racial slurs. Like have like origins,
waifu racial slurs. Like make it a stretch goal.
A whole pamphlet of racial slurs and creative instances and usages of them.
I do like that idea. Female Zach. Listen, I'm sure I'm not. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna make sure this can't show up on the other screen. Okay, it's not. I'm gonna look up female Zagreus. Female Zagreus. Yep, that will work. That will definitely work. Yep, nope, that's gonna work. Cool. Good suggestion, chat. Thank you. Eggplant. The title, Race War Star. We're gonna move on. Okay, so one of the other races is Sand Elves. I actually came up with Sand Elves in high school. And I actually came up with Sand Elves with my buddy who was from Afghanistan at the time. And I cannot publish some of the shit that he and I wrote together because that is cancel worthy. God, like back 2006, political correctness, definitely not a thing. And especially if you were from Afghanistan, really not a thing. He wrote some of the most offensive shit I had ever like seen. And we had this in a little book that will never see the light of day. But I have since refined them over the years, and I thought I made them a very cool looking race. But they are inspired by like Muslim culture and Middle Eastern culture. I know Afghanistan. I have to be very careful because it's been years since I've studied anything like that, so I will probably say something incorrect there. But yeah. Please, thank you for not going with something like Homo sapien waifu. One of my buddies just finished a Kickstarter, and he called all of his races life forms, and I hate that way more. I hate that a lot.
That's also very, very sci-fi.
That's extremely sci-fi. Now, I think his setting does have a lot of sci-fi in it, so I think it works for his setting, but definitely not mine. Can you make that original book a stretch goal to get printed? It will never, ever be printed. No one will ever see that book.
The director's cut.
That's a director's cut. I see an Anakin reference. Oh, yes, rough, coarse, and irritating. I did write that down. Ultimate life form waifu. So yeah, Sand Elves. So Sand Elves are an original race I came up with. They're very anime. In fact, if you look at their design, and in fact, if you, a lot of people on Facebook actually pointed this out, but I'm gonna play this, and hopefully, I won't be copyright struck. But I'm gonna pause that, and give a reason. So, let's get the actual opening song. So a lot of, like 5 people on, like thousands of people saw my Facebook ad, but I'm going to go ahead and play the waifu song real quick. Do they have sandpaper tongue like cats? Kinda. So I'm going to play this song. Ooh, loud. Real quick, lit dev. I shared my stream so that way you can like see it live on Discord.
I see.
Okay, cool. So when I commissioned that song from Corinne, I told her use the Slayer's next opening as your base, and she absolutely like nailed it. So I'll go ahead and just play like this redheaded girl. This is the chaotic neutral character before Luffy entered the scene. Like this is
It's what my character would do.
Yeah, this is my like if Lena existed in real life, she'd been my best fucking friend. Like she is hilarious.
I do like the like, speaking of Luffy, I do like his radical honesty, even when it just puts everyone in jeopardy. Like, who are you? Oh, we're just travelers. We're sailors, okay? We're pirates. We're gonna become king of the pirates. Like, damn it, Luffy!
Show yourself, Mugiwara. He gives you his name, his address, his phone number, and his social security number. He says, "Now what?"
Like, even I sometimes watching the One Piece anime, it's like, shut up, Luffy. Just for once, let it go.
So yeah, Lena and Slayers are a huge inspiration for Sand Elves, because as you can see, she's basically got the Lena haircut. She's got closed eyes like Zelgadis, and like the scales like Zelos or Zelgadis. Sorry, Zelgadis has the scales. Zelos has the closed eyes. So that's Zelos. Where's Zelgadis? Like, I just made, like, Slayers the fucking race. Like, that's what they were. And, God, where is he? There he is. So, like, the scales are like that. Luffy's honestly is frankly disarming. Hence why I love the Kickstarter song. Lena or Naga? I can't stand Naga. I have no love for that character. Let's see. Closed eyes is like Brock. So I didn't
eternal closed eyes.
I didn't know this. I thought it was a stylistic choice. Apparently the closed eyes in 90s anime are supposed to make them look Asian.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Like Chinese. So
yeah.
The Japanese don't really like the Chinese a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So they have like the animosity. So yeah, it's like, oh, this guy's Chinese. So he has the closed eyes.
Well, Brock is supposed to be Japanese. Like so I don't know how accurate that is. I'm just going to move past it and say that if you like Slayers, you'll like my Sand Elves. So the Sand Elves, they come from a desert environment, and they are very, and I say this in as positive way as I can, it's very, like, think militant Islam meets Salvation Army. I know that's a weird mash of words, but essentially the way their culture works, in order to show martial and cultural superiority, they send envoys out into the world to just do good deeds for other nations as like that's what most Sand Elf adventurers are. They are sent out by their sultan in order to, and the logic behind it is our nation is so powerful, we can send you some of our best warriors and you still won't attack us. Like that's the audacity that they're going for. Yeah. So they're definitely, do redheads burn in the sun? No, these redheads don't.
Do they have souls?
Don't be insulting. Do they have souls? They do have souls, yes. So it's a very, like, again, when I wrote this in high school, it was wildly offensive because I wrote it with a kid who came from Afghanistan. So we just didn't care. We were stupid high schoolers. Now I've tried to keep a lot of the spirit of what we had, but like make it cool in anime, you know? So like a mercenary nation, like Ilya from Fire Emblem, kinda, but it's more of a religious experience for them. So It's definitely part of like if you become a warrior or a mage, which by the way, they do not like mages, you're basically like that's kind of your military service is you go out and you go and experience the world. That
Is
also
it military service guarantees citizenship?
kinda, yeah. That's Korean, and like in some places that is very Middle Eastern as well. Like I'm trying to be very careful with what I say here because
Do these sandals have an accent? And they speak a particular accent. If they do, could you mimic it?
I will not. I know when I did my path when I did Sands of Salabim, which is I did do
Sands of Alabama.
so they are from a country called Salabim, which is nonsense. I believe
Salabim. That's from Johnny Quest.
yeah,
That's Johnny Quest.
yeah, they are from like Sim Salabim. But yeah, no, I personally really like the Sand Elves. I think they're cool. I think, and then of course most of my friends who I'm not really in contact with them anymore, but I did talk to a couple of people. They said this is pretty much on the up and up. Definitely don't do what we originally wrote. And like as soon as I told them we wrote this in 2006 in high school, they're like, yeah, probably don't show that.
They're probably not.
Yeah.
But if like you showed up to a kingdom and like you see like a sand elf and they're driving a cab, that wouldn't be out of ordinary.
There's
or a stagecoach.
the stagecoach.
Well, you know that's good. That's a good deed. The transporting people.
It's like when the U.S. Navy sends a hospital ship from somewhere and they get hit. Maybe. I'm not certain what. Maybe I read that wrong. Sand elves in lore, noble warriors, my sand elf, scout from Team Fortress 2. That sounds hilarious. Salabama?
Yeah, Alabama.
No incest. Camel drawn cart.
Officially.
All right, chat. We're gonna take a step back from this. We will put the playful racism somewhere else.
In the handbook.
I can only imagine what South Park level shit you two wrote. Dude, I'm pretty sure even South Park would be like, calm the fuck down. Like,
cool your jets.
Yeah. Let's see. Sand elf. So yeah, the sand elf traits. Let's see. I gave them a constitution bonus because of their scales. They have dark vision, but also I wrote here, though they appear to be closed at all times, their special eyelids allow them to see just as well as any other elf. The special adaptation prevents eye irritants and allows you to see dim light within 60 feet, blah, blah, blah. I think in the Pathfinder one, I think I write that they're not impeded by sandstorms or something. I could be wrong. I'm not sure what I wrote for that.
Wait, so their eyes are always closed, so their edginess is part of their features?
Yeah, no, like if you look at like if you see a slew of sand elves, all of them will look like their eyes are closed. So yeah, that is part of it. Now I did add a thing that I know is going to be controversial to some. Sand elves have very dense skin that are covered in patches of stone-like scales. Your base armor class is 11 instead of 10. I know that no one liked that, so I do have the normal AC armor thing here. Are we still live?
I think so.
Okay, yeah. So I do have the normal natural armor here, where it's 12 plus your con. So yeah. They have a see-through eyelid. Yes! Do they ride giant worms? Kinda. So like a shark's third eyelid. Yes! Thank you, Nerd Caravan. Even when standing in the middle of the room, they'll be standing in a dark corner of a room. Still alive.
This will be a dark corner.
So yeah. He who controls the spice controls the universe.
You guys have this whole sand elf campaign. This is doomed.
Oh god, that would be cool, wouldn't it?
You should make like a One Piece sort of campaign where everyone's just pirates and like one of them could be a sand elf.
Ooh, that sounds awesome, actually.
The sand elf could be the Zaro.
So instead of like a desert sand elf, he's like a beach sand elf.
It's just like a surfing sand
like a surfing sand elf. That sounds awesome, actually. The thing is though, like I imagine they're like really heavy too, because their skin is like stone. So like he'd probably sink a lot. Like it'd probably be way harder for them to swim.
But I don't think it'd be appropriate to be a beach bum. I think you probably like, to have a job driving a cab or something.
Yeah, probably. No. Yeah, I just realized what you got me to say, and I'd like to walk that back. I'd like to walk that back, please.
Well, so people can see the beach. That's a good deed.
Anyway, desert home. Hot environments make you feel at home. You automatically pass constitution checks to avoid exhaustion as a result of extreme heat. Furthermore, you ignore difficult terrain caused by sand. That's pretty good if situational. You're proficient in survival checks and gain advantage on checks in the desert. And they come in 2 different hair colors. So I do have artwork of sand elves, I think, right here? Yeah. I will probably need to redraw those. But they come in blue and red hair. Blue-haired are basically the magical race. They're like the blue hair is like a magical mutation. And they get a spell rage thing. Normally, a sand elf, when they open their eyes, you can see blue eyes. So down here... There. So, like, when a blue-haired sand elf opens their eyes, they have red eyes. When a red-haired sand elf opens their eyes, they have blue eyes. So it reverses on that. And a red-haired, when they open their eyes, they basically get, like, a rage bonus. You keep your eyes open for 1 minute. During that time, you get +1 damage to all your melee attacks. So they basically get, like Barbarian Rage. Kind of like Blue Oni and Red Oni. A little bit, yeah. Let's see. Where are we at next? That's fine. They're actually dehydrated giant elves. If they touch water, they grow 25 feet tall. That sounds great. So, like, Kuripika from Hunter x Hunter. Again, I made them very, very anime. Back in high school, I was super into Slayers, and so was my buddy. So we watched it together. Let's see. Spell Rage. The rage that sand elves are famous for increase the potency of a blue hair spell power. As a bonus action, you open your eyes to reveal sinister red irises for 1 minute. During this time, anytime you would cast a spell that deals dice damage, add your intelligent or charisma modifier, whichever is higher, as the damage results. That's pretty balanced, I'd say. It's strong, for sure, but for a bonus action. It's like one of those dinosaur pill sponges. Are you still here, dude?
No, I'm here.
Okay. It told me chat disconnected for a second. I was making sure. Okay.
Your internet's just going wild.
Yeah. So the feats that I came up with is Flesh of Stone and Dust. Your flesh becomes more coarse, more rough, and more resilient. You have resistance to fire damage. Your scales harden, and while you aren't wearing armor, you calculate your AC is 13 plus Dex or Con. Jesus Christ, that feature is insane with Magic Missile. I think... Okay, Mine, or Flame Blade, the way it would would only work on one missile. It wouldn't work on every missile. But my sand elf is special. She has 1 red eye and 1 blue eye. OC.
And half of her head is red hair, and the other half is blue hair. And she's the last of her kind.
Oh my god. That's literally Fire Emblem Engage. Let's see. 2 feats. So sand elves are Gerudo, more women than men? No. They do have equal... they have equal birth rates.
Oh, hey, Stu, I had an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, you know how Strixhaven is all about, it's really more about social crap and that kind of nonsense and touchy-feely nonsense?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be a good setting, though, to test out your waifu stuff? Because that, they have like an implanted dating sim in there.
Yeah, it would.
But I would run the game, you can run on your channel, and I'll make it different.
You'll make it different.
But everyone could play like their own waifu race or something like that. It would work because it's Strixhaven, so it's like coddled, touchy-feely crap, which of course I might cut out, and add in some steaks and stuff like that. I like steaks.
I like steaks too. I'm thinking about getting some steak after this. But anyway, so yeah, basically one of their AC, they can get like essentially like one of their feats, they get better AC. Let's see.
I think with their sand elves live in a hot place. It's good to have better AC.
Yep. I'm mad. That's really good. Or the other feat you can give them is purple hair. Your magical mutations affecting the Sandalf race become blended into your heritage. You gain the following benefits. Basically, you're no longer considered a red hair or a blue hair, and you get both rage and spell rage. So
red, filthy red hair. Get away, filthy blue hair. Add those to the the racial slurs.
Right. And then
I can see like the red hair and blue hair sand elves hating each other.
Oh, they do. Especially blue hairs are much more rare. Like because they're magical mutations. In the setting that I have written up, again, if we do the waifu setting as a stretch goal, which is like I think 160, give or take. What is 150? What is the waifu setting? 175 is the waifu setting. I'll expand on Salabim and make that a real intricate place. But yeah, blue hairs are very discriminated by the very common red hairs. So, but yeah.
That means that, oh man, everyone's gonna be blue hair now. Everyone's gonna want to have the rare special trait.
Oh my god. Purple hair is ultra ego. Yo, kinda. All right.
Was it Ultra Instinct? Ultra Instinct Sand Elf.
Is purple hair? You have to take a creation or so. Purple hair you can take at any time. Anytime you get a feat, you can take purple hair. You do not need to take it at character creation. But that's an excellent question. What about an albino? That might be the third race we do. I don't want to. Sand elves are already kind of a like sub race already, so expanding on them would be a bit much, but I think adding albino would be safe. I prefer the red hair. I do like the idea. You could also add the spell rage that you can't cast spells for a while if you spent all your energy or 2 strand. Maybe like you gain a level of exhaustion. That might balance it out. I like the ideas. Like, spell rage is a super cool idea. It's just, there's always problems because someone is always going to break it in some way you never think of. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with Sand Elves. If anyone has any questions, feel free. I think we got 2 races left. We got Yurei and Zenko. So I think for now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to send out the invite code for the VIP server. Chat, if you are in chat right now, I'm going to go ahead and edit it. But I have updated the description. VIP server. Or VIP/beta test server. If you are here, you can use that link to get into the exclusive Discord. And that'll let you in. I see... Oh, there's 4 people already. So, yep, we got some people in there. 5 people. 6 people. Here they come.
7 people.
Welcome.
6 people. 5.
Welcome, beta testers.
Welcome, betas.
Okay. Yeah, here they come. Boy, people are... God damn, people are excited about this book. You know what? I thank you. I appreciate it. Holy shit. People are just rolling in. Let's see, I'm also going to throw that over here. Cool. Let's see, we're done with that, so... Keep going, we're still moving. Cool. Hack Stewart's middle school notebooks. That's physical bullshit. Under no circumstances is that going to have a digital footprint. Pointless for me to click on that link. Yeah, we got people. All right, so next is Yurei. These are Japanese ghost girls. And I've already got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 6 different types of Yurei. We're probably... essentially, this was the hardest to balance, but it was also the one I had the most fun making. And essentially, it's broken down to people that die at sea, floating gas ghosts, earthbound spirits that are bound to a person, place, or object. Onryo, this is basically the grudge ghost. Abume.
Did you add in the grudge ghost in there?
Yep! You can play as the grudge ghost. On top of that, you can play as a mom ghost who died in childbirth. Or you can play as a creepy ghost kid. And
can you haunt a toilet? Can you haunt a bathroom like a lot of the Japanese urban legends go? Like the one where she comes into your stall while you're pooping, and then offers you red toilet paper or blue toilet paper, and you have to choose one. I think different choices give you different deaths.
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to be a thing. Can we play as Bennett's? No, I think that's from Pokemon, isn't it? Which one is the ghost from the entity? I'm not certain. I've not seen the entity, so I don't know. But yeah. Let's see. So we got all those type of ghosts. For the expanded races, we're probably going to add like a frost ghost. Like Yukina. I know she's not a frost ghost, but like that's kind of the next step. Yeah. Latino weebs. Is Abume basically a La Llorona? Let Dev.
La Llorona, yeah. Well, she was the one that she wanders around and tries to look for the kids that she drowned.
Oh, okay.
So she like walks around a river. So I don't know. She's not really a grudge ghost, although she will kill you sometimes if she finds you. But really, she's just a regular ghost, as far as I know, trying to fulfill some unfinished business.
Mm-hmm.
La Llorona. So yeah, she drowned her kids. She's trying to find the spirits of her kids, so she's like eternally wandering.
Oh, that was the first episode of Supernatural, wasn't it?
I haven't seen Supernatural.
Oh, okay. I'm pretty sure it's like a woman in white, right?
Yeah, I think she's usually in white, but that's like, I think so. But the main thing is she's walking down a river, up and down a river, trying to find her kids, and I think she will kill you or try to take you if you're a kid or something like that. Some things change around her legend, but that's usually it. I think she was like a scorned lover, and then drowned her own kids in spite.
We can add that. You know what? That might be better. That's really depressing, but yeah, that might be better than like a frost ghost. But No judgment on your accent. Double L's in Spanish. Did I see it? Oh, Llorona. It's been years.
It's kind of tricky. It's kind of tricky.
Yeah. Fair enough. Can you play as a slit-mouth woman ghost and getting beaten and being called mid? I have a feeling that that's a reference.
Isn't that's the urban legend in Japanese culture where like she'll come up to you in the middle of the night with a mask on, and then she'll like reveal herself or something like that, and she'll ask you if she's pretty, and if you say no, she kills you, and you say yes, she'll give you a glass glow smile like her. I think then you get to live. I think there's a way to.
I thought for whatever reason, if you say yes, she'll give you a blowjob, and I was like, let Def.
that was a different ghost.
Different ghost.
She slits your mouth open like hers. But I think you get to live though.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's a way to get around her where she's like because you can't outrun her because she's really really fast. I think you have to confuse her somehow by giving like some sort of like logical conundrum or something, or you have to ask, "Oh, do you think I'm pretty?" or something like that, and she's like, "What?" and then I'll give you enough time to run away. I think.
Toji, sorry, you're interesting. You're just not my type.
So the thing is, yeah. So if you're one of those like slit mouth ghosts and you're called mid, you'll get like an extra strength or something like that. Like gaming terms.
There are rules about things like Baba Yaga where you need to indirect and not answer the full question. Baba Yaga's in Pathfinder. She's
John Wick.
Not that one. But but the actual real life Earth ass Baba Yaga is a major character in the Pathfinder setting, and to the point where like Russia is like integral to Pathfinder lore. Yeah,
that sounds pretty awesome actually. Russia has some really interesting lore.
There is a Pathfinder like adventure path called Rasputin Must Die. It's
why didn't we play that? Sounds awesome.
We should. All right, back to Yurei. Yurei are undead, so your wisdom score increases by 2. There's a typo. They are whatever size they were when they died. However, sometimes they appear slightly taller since they float around the ground. They have dark vision. Let's see. Your creature type is undead. You do not require air, food, drink, and you are immune to being poisoned, poison damage, and diseases. You still take damage normally from nearly every other type of damage. However, it is more emotional harm than physical. So that's kind of how I balanced out that they're ghosts. It's like, if you get swung at by a mace, it doesn't actually hurt you, but it does emotionally hurt you. It's like, oh,
emotional damage.
Yeah. Let's see.
You get hit by them, and you start thinking like depressing thoughts and stuff like that. So like, oh man, I was so happy before.
Let's see. Undead weaknesses. You are vulnerable to radiant damage and can be subject to effects and abilities such as a cleric's turn undead. Rest without peace. Whenever you take a short or long rest, you instead fade into a state in between the material and ethereal plane. You are invisible while resting, but any area that you occupy is eerily quiet and unsettling. You are still vulnerable to people who are aware that you are there. Reign of Winter Adventure Path, yes. Let's see. Roll 1d6 for +4 for emotional damage. So yeah. When you rest, you're invisible. Languages, they retain all that they had in life. And as subraces, you don't really have a subrace as much as a cause of death. So if you're a sea ghost, you gain advantage to stealth checks while in water. You can walk on water, but it's considered difficult terrain. As a gas ghost, you can fly for 1 minute. Also as a gas ghost, you're no longer immune to poisons, poison damage, or diseases. However, you also do not suffer vulnerability to radiant damage. So if you don't want to... If you're in a very holy damage-heavy campaign, you might want to play as a gas ghost.
Can you play as a box ghost?
A box ghost?
The box ghost.
I think that'll be the extended race. I think the box ghost.
A sub-race.
Sub-race. Let's see. Object bound. Bound. You are bound to a person, place, or object. Choose one of these at the beginning of play. So long as you are within 60 feet of the bound object or person, you may gain advantage on a single d20 roll. You can use it again after a long rest. Vengeful Spirit. You can see and declare a person who has wronged you. For 1 minute, you gain advantage on attack rolls against that target. In addition, your target gains no benefit from cover other than total cover, and you suffer no disadvantage due to range. You may also use... That may need nerfed. That one may need nerfed. You may use this ability again after taking a long rest. Dead Mom Ghost. You can cast Good Berry. However, instead of creating berries, you create 10 berry-sized treats. And as a ghost kid, you learn Prestidigitation. Sounds like coward talk. Bring on the radiant damage. Mama didn't raise no dead. Raise from the dead, no coward. What about half ghosts? Oh god. Is that a thing?
How could he be a half ghost? Like, I think it's like Yusuke, where he's like not dead, but he's alive somehow, but he's not totally alive.
Part of me was thinking we do Shinigami, but like Shinigami are not really ghosts. Not really. Like in Bleach they are, but not really. So hard to say. I do think Vengeful Spirit would make a very interesting player character, though. So, I think that's everything with these guys. Oh, their feats. Yeah, let's go through their feats real quick. Speaking of Box Ghost, one of the feats is called Going Ghost.
I'm going ghost.
Yep. Let's see. Your undead form and ghostly nature grants you additional powers. You gain the following benefits. You can turn incorporeal for 1 minute. While incorporeal, you gain resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, slashing from non-magical attacks. You also gain ethereal sight. Basically, you can fly through walls, disappear, and fly. You can go through walls, disappear, and fly. That's it. This is exactly what it sounds like. Bleach Shinigami are not really ghosts as much as they are Deva. Does the dead mom ghost come with an anime mom ponytail? Yes, it's a requirement.
The anime mom ponytail.
Let's see.
Is that the dead mom hair thing where like it's like to the side?
Let's see. Does Bleach Shinigami are not really ghosts as much as they are Deva? Yeah, I already read that. Oof. They're not ghosts, just ethereal. Yeah, so that's Going Ghost. You can also get Mortal Shell. With Mortal Shell, you gain a new mortal body. However, you are basically a ghost trapped within a corpse. You gain the following benefits. You gain a mortal body. While in this body, you no longer have undead weakness racial ability. However, you do not need... You do need to eat, drink, and breathe again. You may leave your mortal body behind and act as a ghostly creature again for 1 hour. While outside your mortal body, you do not need to eat, drink, or bathe. After the hour, you're forced back into your mortal body. You cannot use this again until after a long rest. If you are slain, you do not die as a mortal again. You instead rise from the corpse in 1d6 minutes. As a Yurei, you cannot gain the benefit of this feat again unless you spend at least 3,000 gold pieces on a ritual. For the ritual, you either need a Nekcomada, a cleric, a necromancer, or another spellcasting character of 8th level or higher, as determined by the GM. You may perform this ritual yourself if you're a cleric or a necromancer. The ritual takes 1 week to perform. That needs changed, after which you may gain the benefit of this feat again after a long rest. Oof, that's a lot. Does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns about the Yurei? Again, we're only really going over the 5e stuff today. That's loud. When your shell dies, what does your Yurei HP look like? Do you rise at full HP or just 1? That's a really good question. I didn't think that. So, the mortal shell was not meant to be balanced around 5e. That was meant to be balanced around Pathfinder. So in Pathfinder, if you die as an undead, like if you so in Pathfinder, the way hit points work is you don't die at 0 hit points, or you actually are considered dying. You don't actually die until you hit negative your constitution. And if you're undead in Pathfinder, you die at 0 and there ain't no coming back. So Mortal Shell was designed with that in mind. It was basically to give the Yurei a way to not die so quick. Is there going to be a Necromancer subclass? There probably should be. Yeah. Is the Mortal Shell feat removed until you get revived again? No, the Mortal Shell happens... Like, you're still stuck with that feat. You just don't get a body again until you spend money and do the ritual. Does the Mortal Shell change appearance or have a Ronnie sort of effect? I imagine it would work closer to Ronnie, where you have a false body that you either make or find. But that's a good question. One HP a third, or maybe even roll a couple of hit dice is probably more balanced for 5e. I'm thinking a third. I think rolling hit dice is probably going to be closer to what we'll finally come up with. But thank you for pointing that out. That is definitely a concern I did not think about originally. I think to balance it out, the corpse you attach yourself of takes up an attunement slot. That's badass. I like that. That's really cool. Writing that down. So I'm going to put 5e beta testing. Mortal shell is attuned item. I like that a lot. That's really smart. And we could actually cut out the money cost then if we make it an attunement slot and you get it back after a long rest. That's really good. Yeah.
Gotta be careful with that waifu attunement slot. There's only so many.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. This is really good. How will healing spells work on a Yurei since they don't actually work on undead in 5e? Wait, really? I will need to add a thing where healing will work on a Yurei. That's a good point.
I think healing in 5e hurts undead.
It technically doesn't. I think that was in Pathfinder it definitely does, because in Pathfinder they have positive and negative energy, and it's very annoying to work with. But yeah, yeah, just add a feature. Yeah, you get healed. You can get healed as a Yurei. Only certain spells do that. Yeah, no. In Pathfinder it does, but that's a different thing. All right, that's a good point. I'm gonna add that again in 5e. Add thing to make Yurei recover from healing. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay. Yeah. Cool. All right. That's an easy fix. Danny Phantom is a weird character to make. Half ghosts are not dead, and they start human. Okay. What about Raised Dead? I mean, you're undead, so Raised Dead may work on you depending on how long you've been dead, and that's something you got to work out with your GM. Like,
I'm a.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you mean what if you die as a Yurei?
You become full ghost. Or something.
Well, yeah, like you die.
You come back alive.
Like I imagine you still leave behind a thing. Like you leave behind like clothing or something. So if they want to revive you,
you leave behind the memory, like in Elden Ring.
Yeah, we'll have to. Yeah, I'll have to add a thing that says when you die, or like when you die, you leave behind a thing, and when you get revived, you would probably come back. You would come back as a Yurei, because Yurei.
It's like a team member remembers you, because that's kind of how it works. Like as long as someone remembers you, you'll never be forgotten. So if you have the memory and the person who is like you're closest to, because you have to have someone else to revive you anyway. So the person you're closest to, in some degree, kind of like that whole thing with Yusuke, where like it could have been Keiko, sure, but it could also have been Kuwabara, his rival.
Like you got to be revived. Okay. You leave behind a blue fang that looks like Calcifer in Hell's Moving Castle.
You're just a little flame.
Okay. They could borrow from the Dampier and have a racial trait where they take from the benefit of the positive or negative, but they only gain half from the other. Yeah, I do want to differentiate it from Dampier. Dampier is a pretty well-balanced race for Pathfinder. They're just stressful to work with. Unless you take, like, Daywalker or something.
Unfortunately, I have to go. A little business I have to conduct, but nothing's wrong, by the way. It's just business stuff. But thanks for having me on, Stu.
No problem,
I'll
bud.
talk to you later.
Yep, we're just going through the last race. See you, bud.
Awesome.
Okay. That's fine. A gossamer bit of cloth. I do like that. That's really cool. All right. Those are really good. I like that. We'll need to add. We passed 53,000 again. Fantastic. We finally reached where we were this morning. By the way, if you haven't, please go and subscribe to Literature Devil's channel. Literature Devil. Yeah. Please go subscribe to Lit Dev's channel. We have sponsored 2 of his videos. The first one was actually, so he watched My Adventures with Superman. The second one is asking if Lois is a Mary Sue, which, spoilers. But you should go watch both of those videos. They are quite good. He does very good analysis. He is a bit edgier than I am. He is not afraid to get politically incorrect, where I am sometimes a little... I attempt to be a little more measured, as I could be. But if you don't like that, you may not like his content, but personally, I think he has excellent analysis that you guys will like. If you like my content, you'll like his content. So, anyway, finally, is everyone ready to move on to Fox Girls? Is everyone ready to talk about Zenko? Because, whew, we've been here for a minute. How long have we been streaming? Nearly 3 hours. I would like to end before the 3-hour mark, if that's cool with everybody else. One more thing, says Ernesto. What about hold person? Probably not. It would probably not work on a Yurei. What is the difference between a Zenko and a Kitsune? Actually, we'll talk about that. Is there a muscle waifu? Like, are we talking about like a buff waifu? Are we talking about a girl that's just strong? Because this girl is really, really strong. And Okutsuna, the orc girl, is also really, really strong. I do not have a character whose aesthetics is muscular. Not because I dislike that, but because I just didn't have it when I wrote the book. Yes, and finally we're at the... So what is the difference between Zenko and a Kitsune? So I had to differentiate the two. In Pathfinder, there is already a Kitsune race. They're very well established, and they have different lore than Japanese mythology. Zenko are basically directly ripped as much as possible from Japanese folklore. They are servants of the god of fortune that are common enough that I wrote a race on. So yes, Flameblade, that piece of shit in the comments, is the one you can credit for this race. I would say the body of mortal shell for hold persons, but ghost, yeah. So yeah, if you're in the mortal shell, hold person works. If you're out of the mortal shell, it does not work. Fae aren't affected by hold persons, so it's not a big deal. Yeah. Zenko looks very head-pattable. Yes. So, oh, one thing I do want to point out, this character is a dateable waifu in the book. So her asset was actually taken from someone named Scorch Blaze, who was a patron for the Pokemon campaign. This is a recycled asset that I will be replacing, by the way. It'll be close to the same appearance, but definitely legally distinct, because I don't want... I don't want that to be a thing. Her name is also different, but I do like this artwork that I did commission of her. I think it's very funny. I thought that was just cute, and I put that in the book. Yeah, she also can do the head pats unique camp activity. So this character is 100% a meme. She will not be... She'll be very different in the final product. I was talking Dragon Ball levels of muscle. Think of how heavy your dumbbells are. So I don't have any. It's not, again, it's not because I dislike them. It's just I don't have any. I also don't think to add them. My goal isn't to represent every type of waifu. My goal is to just, here's a bunch of fun ideas. If you're wondering why I asked for fox girls in the first place, you can blame Lost Paws. Isn't that how we feel when we cook? Yeah. So anyway, Zenko. This is by far the most complicated race in the book. Even more complicated than the Yurei. Because I copied as much Japanese, I imported as much Japanese lore as possible. So a Zenko, or the Zenko in Japanese folklore, there's two ways to become one. You are either a fox that reaches 100 years old, or a fox that gets picked up, as in literally lifted up, by a divine being. So, like, they are foxes that gain humanoid intelligence. It was helpful for Fox Senko-san. If you've if you watched Senko, that's the little fox waifu girl, the little, I know what you're talking about. She's vaguely lolly-shaped. That is actually quite a good anime if you want to learn about Zenko. So, let's see. Not gonna lie, Hollow from Spice and Wolf has always been a soft spot. Yeah. Isn't Hollow a wolf girl, though? I could be wrong. So, yeah. Anyway, Zenko in this one, they kind of have a built-in story arc because they come from the realm of the God of Fortune. And with that, like, that's where all of them come from. That's the idea. Like, they go into training for that. Once they become 100 years old, their age basically restarts as they then go through training. So if an ASMR picks up a fox, the fox become a Zenko? Yes! Kinda, actually. Yeah, they can. So if a fox girl ever has kids, would the offspring be foxes or humanoid? With fox 8. If a fox girl has kids, they'd probably be Zenko. Or whatever the race of the father is. Or mother, I don't care. It would probably either be Zenko or other. I believe I even wrote down that your creature is both celestial and fey. As such, you gain advantage on saving throws against illusion and evocation. So this race might be a little too strong. But again, it comes with a lot of baggage. So once they start over as a Zenko, once they reach age 50, they become a fox spirit. Once they're a fox spirit, they can be called Kitsune, and then they begin their training. Once they reach age 500, they become a Kiko, and this is when they can start adventuring. Also called Energy Fox, after 500 years of service, Kitsune become proper divine messengers and begin performing assignments. Then they take one of these. You become either a white fox, a sun fox, or a moon fox. ASMR make an army of Zenko by picking up a lot of foxes. Like, you're not going to manufacture it. You're not going to manufacture Zenkos. Heads up, Stu, the numbers has been dropping stream memes. Yo, really? Oh my god. I will... I will look at these in a minute. Oh, that's awesome. Tell you what, we'll go ahead and look at these in a bit. Yeah, for sure. I'm going to skip all the dotty.pngs for a while now. Thank you. I will. We'll start at the one today. So, let's see. White Fox, Sun Fox, Moon Fox. And this is where most player characters are going to be. After that, they can upgrade to Miyobu. This is one of the races where you can get the mythic racial traits, and I believe Miyobu is one of the racial tiers, and then Tenko. Yep. So essentially, you will not become a Miyobu or a Tenko, but the explanation of how they work are written here. As when you become a Miyobu, you're a member of the Imperial Court. There is no distinct age at which Zenko earns his title. However, their powers have significantly increased, and they're able to assign jobs to Kiko Foxes and dole out blessings to loyal mortals. And Tenko, they become a Heavenly Fox. After a millennium of experience, a Miyobu is capable of becoming a demigod-like creature called a Tenko. These Zenko sprout 4 tails, but can grow up to 9, and are capable of granting divine spells and gain the power of clairvoyance. Blah, blah, blah. So, let's go over these real quick. For completion's sake, I did include what you would have if you started as a very young Zenko, meaning if you started at 50 years old. I even write here, I don't recommend starting, because these are basically kids. You can do it if you want, but I don't recommend it. So that's what this are for completion's sake. That's what this page is. This is the page where you actually have the stats. So, for the ability score, your charisma increases by 2, dex by 1. While in human, you're a medium size, blah, blah, blah. While in fox form, you're small. Your base walking speed is 30, and fox speed is 30 as well. You have a burrow of 5. You have dark vision. You're a celestial and a fae. You gain claws. You can communicate with other Zenko, Kitsune, or unintelligent foxes, regardless of language barrier. And you get one of the subtypes. So, there we are. So, lower the volume. So, with one of the subtypes, you're humanoid at will. You can change into a common fox or your humanoid form. While in fox form, treat your stat blocks as the same as your humanoid, except your AC is 11 plus dex, and your base walking speed is increased to 35. Fox color. So you pick one of your fox colors. You can either be a white, gold, or black fox. While white, your hair and fur is pure white, while in your fox form, your side is considered medium. And your capacity and weight is 13 plus your charisma mod. You can also have a medium creature right on top of you. And your walking speed is increased to 50 feet. You could basically become a mount as a white fox. As a gold fox, you learn a first level evocation spell. And as a black fox, you gain a first level illusion spell. And then as far as the racial feats go, here we are. Fox avatar, you no longer have a dedicated humanoid or fox form. Whenever you transform into your humanoid form, you may change your gender, your surface appearance, your height, your hair. You can be fat or thin. This is basically disguise self. So you can have disguise self built into your humanoid form. And for fox trick, this is basically the substitution jutsu. Being able to be a mount in 5e can be very powerful. Oh, good to know. Fox trick, this is basically the substitution jutsu. If you succeed, you teleport a distance equal to your walking speed, leaving behind a log or a substitute that takes the damage for you. You can use it again after a long rest. It's basically a once per long rest, like, damage avoidance. More like alter self. Alright, my bad. Is disguise self not a thing? If you grab the sentinel feat... Oh, you tried to attack my rider, I attack you. That sounds awesome. And that, honestly, that kind of does play into... That plays into the book as well. Because the whole point of the book is to build teamwork feats. So no, that sounds good. If you're a strong mount, go for, yeah, that's I mean that's fine. No, that sounds great. That's definitely on brand for the idea of the book. Is if you are a powerful mount for your teammate, that is exactly what we want. Let's see, for the mythical traits, at tier 6, this is substitution no jutsu moving away in a direction of your choice. Direction of your choice, yes. It has a single beefy feature, but the rest are more low end, so I don't think it's an OP race. Ah, okay, I understand. Make it so you always have your tail or ears. Maybe. That's a cute idea, but it does kind of, like, you have to burn a feat to get it, and in 5e, feats are kind of hard to get. You only get a couple of them. I think it should be kind of strong. You know? Like, if you got to burn a feat to get it, it should be pretty good. So, the mythic ones, let's see. This one is a tier 6, so you got to be really strong to get it. At some point in Akiko's life, they can be promoted to the tier of Myobu, and they'll be able to grant younger Zenko missions. They are also able to freely travel between the spirit world and the material plane. While in the material plane, you are under the effect of the invisibility spell. You can deactivate or reactivate this effect at will. Just as a quick reminder, if you have tier 6 mythic, or rank 6 or whatever, you pretty much are at least a 12th level character. So having invisibility at will, while very strong, not too out of place. Not too out of place. Travel magic. At will, as an action, you can cast plane shift to go to your god's realm. You may also cast teleport spell once as at 7th level. You must finish a long rest again to cast a spell or expend 1 inspiration point. You can get a feat without leveling depending on the DM will allow it. Sure. I mean, I give out feats as rewards sometimes, but, like, you know what someone's going to say. Like, oh, you only get a feat at 4th level. You know. I love these mythic racial traits. Thank you. At 9th tier, you can become a Tenko. Tenko are demigods in all but name. They possess immense power that allow them to perform feats that can only be matched by their heavenly patrons. You grow 4 tails and gain the following benefits. You gain followers and worshippers as a deity and administer spells to clerics and other divine casters just like them. You also gain blind sight, tremor sense, and true sight with a range equal to your dark vision. This might actually be a little underpowered, but it does lean into the next one. You need Tenko to get True Tenko. So, True Tenko is a tier 10 ability, that is the strongest you can get. Thank you, Azure. For Top Fox, you may order or demand any Fox, Kitsune, or Zenko creature within your vision. That creature makes a saving throw as if you cast the command spell if they try to resist it. Prophecy, you can see into the future and you can perfectly predict the events that are about to unfold. By expending 1 inspiration point, you can gain the benefits of foresight for 12 hours. Which, I believe that is very strong. I'll have to double check that one. If I recall, foresight's a 9th level spell. Oh, yeah, that sure is. Oh my god. Yeah, no, that's really good. You basically have perma advantage. Yeah. Yeah, that's really good. That's really fucking good. This has been very enlightening stream. Your full year of working on this is very much showing. Thank you. God, I appreciate that. Like, weirdly enough, though, you want to know the funny thing? It only took me about maybe 2 or 3 months to really write this up. And then it took me like another month or 2 before I was happy with most of the book. And then the Kickstarter took 2 months. We're on month 9, so maybe a little longer, but this did not take as long as you may think. I know the classes didn't take that long. The classes took like maybe a month tops. The races took way longer. The cooking took probably 3 weeks. And then the characters probably took the good part of a weekend. Powerful Zenko can make a warlock. Why didn't I write warlock patron? You absolutely are a warlock patron. Yeah, foresight is literal ultra instinct. Yeah, nope, okay. True Tenko, that's really strong. That's really fucking strong, actually. So yeah, we'll just leave that at that. No, I'm happy with that. That's really good. I can't help but wonder about polyamory options. I tried so hard to balance polyamory in this game. You have no idea how many discussions I had in my fucking beta testing Discord server about poly options. It was not working. Every time we tried it, it was too strong, too powerful. So we decided polyamory is going to be a mythic trait only. So yeah, that's, it's going to be mythic only. But yeah. I love foods in the Traveler's Tavern, so I'm excited for the food options. Next week, we're going to talk about the classes. I've got, unfortunately, I'm going to let you guys know, I had to remove the Artificer. The Artificer is not something I was allowed to use. I didn't realize that when I originally wrote it. That's an oopsie doopsie on my part. So I will eventually be giving Artificer away for free because I can't make money off of it. And that'll just be how that goes. But I am going to release this book for the server for beta testing today. Feel free to tear it apart. Give me any kind of suggestions. Yeah. Use polymorph. That does sound funny. Yeah. So, yeah, next week we'll come back, we'll do the classes. Does anyone have any questions about Zenko before we go? Don't forget Polly's Armory. Is Godfox a Warlock patron? We're probably going to need to add that, aren't we? Yeah, probably. That's just more work. Oh, well. How can I look at the book on the Discord server? Give me a minute. I'll post it after the stream. Next Friday is class section. Yep, next Friday's classes. The week after that will be the cooking, and the week after that will be the NPCs. And backgrounds, because we might as well. The background chapter is really short. To be honest, I was almost embarrassed to put the backgrounds, because I only made 5 backgrounds, and... But yeah. I hope you guys like it. Personally, I feel like things could be better. But then again, I'm also, you know, my harshest critic, so. Is the last Zenko artwork inspired by Kurama? Oh, you mean... Hold up. I think you mean... her? That's from our Pokemon campaign. Zenko probably counts as a Celestial. Good point, yeah. Not a question, but a comment. Thanks for putting Zenkos in. Buddy, that was all for you. Flameblade, you can blame or thank Flameblade for adding the Zenko. But yeah. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna... God, but I kind of do... Because I could put it as a witch patron in Pathfinder. let me take a break. Let me sleep on that. But I really like the idea. Let me come back to that. But I do like the idea. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. I'm going to go work out. It is like 8:45, and I haven't worked out all day. And I'm feeling kind of like, yeah. I'm feeling kind of pent up. Is Zenko Warlock Patron a subclass in this book? No, the subclass in this book is called the Affair. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Anyway, go subscribe to LitDev. Go pledge to the Kickstarter. I think almost everyone here has. Within this time, we gained about 20 pledges, so that's huge. So that's really, really good. Thank you so much. We're at 53,000. At 60,000, we're going to add the Mythic Path.